Carnivores.
Good morning.
Good evening.
Exactly. A little bit of everything today. How was your guys' week? Do anything
Yeah,
fun?
not too bad. Michael, you go.
Just another week for me.
Oh, nothing exciting. You didn't go skydiving this week or anything?
I
Bungee
wanted to, but they wouldn't let me on the plane.
That's discrimination.
Yeah, my
Man.
week's been pretty good. Been busy. Spent the week with my daughter again. Did the flower market and all that kind of stuff. So it's always fun. I get to spend time with her. So always exciting. Weekend was busy. I had a shout out from Dr. Berry. And that was exciting.
Huge.
That happened for us on Friday, and everything went crazy. My emails, everything. So it's been a wild ride, an absolutely wild ride. So, and I'm excited that Dr. Berry knows who I am.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
isn't it? Dr. Barry is the man. That was so cool.
Well, it was
Yes.
2 years ago, or no, just over 2 years ago, that I first saw Dr. Berry's Carnivore video. And if it hadn't been for that video, I wouldn't have met SBG Gang, Steak and Butter Girl. I mean, he's the one that inspired me to give this a go. And the fact that he now knows that he saved my life, basically. If I hadn't have seen that video, I would never have known about Carnivore, probably never would have tried it, and I probably wouldn't be here today. So I feel good, just to say glad that he now knows that he's saved my life. I know that he's saved millions of lives just by what he does. He's just so generous with his time and knowledge daily, and I am very appreciative of that. So, yeah.
Hey, look at there. Fellow Montanan in the chat. Hello
Ah.
from Bozeman.
Howdy.
Howdy. Is this Dr. Phil's new channel?
I think so.
That looks like a Dr.
Okay.
Phil to me.
It does.
It does. It does. I'll have
Hey,
to
Dr.
check
Phil.
it
Trying to
out.
confuse us with that name change.
Yeah, let us know if you got a new YouTube channel. We'll definitely get your link in the chat.
We will.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Right.
So I saw you got, I mean, you're getting a bunch of views and your subscribers are going up and everything's going crazy. But I also saw that you had some trolls.
Yeah, I have 2 haters. Who would have thought? Which is fine, no problem. But look, if I had have got those at the beginning of my journey, I was very, very sensitive back then, and I would have deleted my channel and disappeared, hiding from life. I've been hiding all my life, and now that I'm feeling confident and want to get out there and inspire people, and these trolls do make you want to crawl back into that hole and disappear. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let them get me, because there's so many people out there that are struggling, that haven't found their way, that need that hope, that inspiration, that motivation to say, you can do this. And but I am feeling a little bit defeated or deflated today, but it'll pass. It'll pass. So, but yeah, got a few nasty comments. One was, she was sick of seeing my face. Yeah, I don't think I copied that one, but yeah. Well, this one here, apparently I'm a grifter, and I didn't even know what a grifter was. I had to Google it because I had no idea, but apparently I'm sharing my story for financial gain, and taking advantage of this wonderful community. I have never asked for a donation, for gifts, or I am sharing my story to show people that, there are options. Don't give up. And it's got nothing to do with money. Like, I don't care how much money I make on YouTube. I've been monetized now because people watch me, but it's nothing. Like, I don't even care for it. This is to get my message out there, to show people that you can do it. But yeah, I'm apparently a psychotic. I need a psychiatrist. How do I let myself get to that stage? My comments, I think there's about 40 messages, I think, on different comments.
Clearly a mentally well-adjusted person.
All these messages right here are from the same person.
This lady's nuts, but it's hilarious.
other. And then she's commented on other videos of mine as well, and comments, and just nasty. And like I said, I've never asked for money. I have worked even through my whole, obesity up until, and I still am working from home, full-time job. I have never, ever been on any government benefits at all. I have worked and maintained, helped my husband pay the bills. I couldn't physically move, but I'm fine to do work on the computer, and I have worked a full-time job all this time. And then just one day I decided, well, I'm not going to pay for takeout anymore. Instead, I'm going to invest my money in some coaching and SPG gang and the community and buying meat. And that's where my money has gone now. And my life has changed. So, yeah, nobody's helped me with this. I made the decision. I've invested in my health, and I continue to invest in my health. Everything I buy now is for my future optimal self. And, I just, over to you. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, and we just brought this up, and we're like, oh, we could talk about it today on the show because we don't feed the trolls, and we don't care. But there was, in fact, I find some of the troll comments are like, quite honestly, it's like my guilty pleasure. It is part of my favorite stuff that happens to me, because some of them are truly so hateful that they're hilarious the way they put them together. I mean, these people put energy into being miserable, but I love that I'm costing him like time. Like, clearly, this lady spent like her afternoon
Hours.
like, like wrapped up in this, right? I love that we're spending that much time, that our existence.
Just check the times. Look at the timestamps. An hour, 54 hours, 45, 42, 41. It's like she couldn't get off the page.
I mean, just absolutely living in her head rent free. You are, Lindy. It's hilarious. But I did not the haters so much, the trolls, but I do keep seeing some of the same comments coming up, and sometimes people say them and they're snobby, but a lot of times people are just really curious, or they think they're helping, or whatever. And so I wanted to go over some of those and see what you guys think too. One of the ones that I get quite often is just, how did you get, how on earth do you get to 700 pounds? How does that happen? And it's just like, people don't quite get it. I mean, I'm certain there's many ways you could do it, but I think one thing that all three of us have in common was, we weren't lean and normal size when we were like 25, and then just all of a sudden start putting it on. We were big from the time, when we were just little kids. We were always big, and that stuff just has a way of piling on. And then, especially for me, it was drinking, a lot of calories, because I didn't eat a ton. I actually drank all my calories through soda and sugar, and that was just how, how it went in my family. But I mean, what about you guys? What do you think you contribute most of your weight gain to?
Well, I definitely ate for comfort, and that's something that was instilled in me as a child. Like my great grandnonna, because she did passed away when I was sick. My great grandmother would sneak us into a bedroom, and she'd be open a little wardrobe with a secret stash of chocolates, and here you go. Whenever we were upset, or just because she loved us, she went through the war. They didn't have a lot in their life, so she just wanted to give all the time, and I don't blame her at all. I mean, it's the nature. Italians, everything revolves. Comfort eating is something that's sort of been with me all my life. I've had a lot going on, a lot of sickness in our family, and I just turned to food, and that was always a big thing. But I do feel like I was broken. It's since being carnivore, and I talk about it all the time, I finally have an off switch. Like, I don't even, if something happens like this troll, I don't even think about food. Normally, I would just eat my sorrows away. I just eat, and I go numb. I don't even think about it. And I would just eat it away. And then, obviously after you've eaten, you feel like, well, that hasn't fixed anything. But I feel even worse because I've cheated and done all this terrible, eaten all these wrong foods. But now that's all gone. So I do feel maybe it's a hormonal thing or something that's fixed now that I don't have. So I do have this off switch and I don't automatically think about food anymore. It's just I can take a step back if something happens and I can assess, okay, I've got choices here. Whether it's brain fog that I couldn't see that I had any other choice, I just don't know. And it is something I'm trying to figure out because I know that would help a lot of people if I can figure out how it's working for me. But definitely something was out of whack with me, and whatever that was is now fixed just by being carnivore.
Absolutely. That's
Mm.
that's a very common theme too. Real quick, wrestler 64 want to know where you buy your meat from, Lindy.
Oh, we go to we've got a local butcher. He has all grass-fed. I didn't even know it was grass-fed, but I just get it delivered every fortnight or every other week. And we're actually going to, we've got a place called Australian Butchers not far from here, and it's a lot. They're sort of the middleman between the farmer and the supermarkets. So we get them discounted there. And my hubby and I are going to go up there after this call and buy some meat from them, see what they're like. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's another one.
I'm sorry, I can't read that. It's too small.
Yeah, it says thank you for sharing. I honestly had no intention of sharing my story. This was Lindy's response.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
proud of letting myself get so large. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing. When I heard about Bill Knott, I was in his shoes and decided to reach out and give him hope. I then came across Todd and Michael, both 700 plus pounds, and they too are experiencing amazing results. Our journeys are no more special than anyone else's. Everyone's journey is unique and special, and we all deserve optimal health and happiness. Whether at keto, carnivore, or whatever, SPG celebrates all their focus is on healing, not weight loss, which happens once your body is healed. If needed, I wish you all the best in your healthy journey or your health and journey. Absolutely. That's awesome response.
Yeah, there's
And
no point being nasty, and I haven't had a response to that at all. She's disappeared now, so hopefully she feels better about it. I don't know, but I'm not a nasty person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I wanted to go over that. How about you, Michael? How do you figure, what if you would contribute your weight
I
gain to
know.
one thing?
I blame it to one thing. It was a burger that I had in Colorado on vacation in 1978. It was as big as a plate, and the waitress told me if I can eat the whole thing, she'd give me a sucker. And
Wow.
from that moment on, you can ask anybody in my family. From that moment on, my whole life changed.
Wow.
I ate the whole thing,
Sorry.
and I started putting all the weight on.
What's a sucker? I'm sorry.
A lollipop.
It's a lollipop.
I'm not even going to tell you where I went there.
All my pictures before that, I was skinny as a toothpick. And as soon as I came back from Colorado, it was either that or the elevation or something. Either I got addicted. It's addiction to sugar, is really what it was. But I always teased everybody about the burger. But yeah, I was addicted to sugar and carbs, and the thought of food was constantly in my head. And depression, anxiety, everything. It all plays a role, and I'm free from that now. And that's what
Absolutely.
carnivore has given me, and that's my food freedom. It's not
Yeah.
the food. Sure, there's food out there that I would love to have, but I can't have them in my current state. Someday I will, yes, in limited quantities. I'm never going back to where I was. I guarantee you that. I promise you that.
Right.
Because where I was going back where I was just 8 months ago, it was 6 feet in the ground is where I was going. And it was going to be a double wide, well, actually cremated, but it would have been a double wide grave.
Yeah. Right. For sure. Well, and then there's the other part to it too. I mean, there's some real things that happen with your gut microbiome, your metabolism when you let it go over time. When you get used to living off of sugar, and you get accustomed to that, your body stops being efficient at making energy out of fat, And so, you end up with a gut microbiome in a system that's built and wants the sugar. You end up with a serious eating disorder and sugar addiction. And all of a sudden, your body's natural signaling gets messed up, especially because you usually end up with a weight problem pretty quick, and then you believe the dogma that fat is bad for you, so you stop eating fat. Your body starts being very hungry, or your hormones get pretty messed up. You stop, you lose your satiety, well, sensitivity to leptin, your satiety hormone, and pretty soon your thyroid glands and your adrenal glands start going haywire. You start getting overloaded with stress and anxiety, and depression starts coming along with it, which is another huge thing. You stop sleeping as good. You are super low energy, so you start getting sedentary. Your body gets heavier. It's harder and harder to move. You try to move, but it's miserable, and so you get more depressed, and this is just a nasty spiral. We've all been, all of us here have been through it, a lot of people out there. But here's the biggest thing, you know, this whole thing about how could you get to 500 pounds? How could you get to 600 pounds? How could you get to 700 pounds? Look, if you look around, it's getting more and more common. That's the real scary, nasty, terrible thing. In fact, let me see if I can find that picture that I pulled up here. Yeah, let's pull this picture up here. Because it's getting more and more common. And 74% of the Earth's population is now, either overweight or obese. And let me share the screen. And it's going to be getting way worse. If we don't get people's attention and show them what's going on here, it's going to be, I hope to not have to say it's going to get common, but it's going to get a lot more common. I mean, look at this. I love this picture here. It says this was the world's most overweight person in 1890. People used to pay money to see him. Sorry, my camera's in the way. Today, he'd just be your average shopper at Walmart. This is what's happening to our health. Yeah, I mean, it's very true. I probably weigh more than that guy right now. Losing 262 pounds, like that guy's, that guy looks like, quite honestly, about 30 to 40% of the people I know on construction sites. You know what I mean? They look a lot like that guy, right in the where somewhere abouts there, right? And this is very common anymore. And just like that was a complete crazy thing, and now that's completely common, it's going to keep getting worse. It's going to absolutely keep getting worse if we don't do something about it, and if we don't show this process. And that takes me to my second most commented thing from some from the haters, some from the people that just don't understand. But they say they say this all the time. They go, you didn't lose weight because of carnivore, you lost weight because you restricted your calories and you eat less now. And it just makes me want to yell from the mountaintops, because it's like, I don't know how, I understand that you believe that, and you believe the calorie in, calorie out, thermodynamic, BS. But the reality of it is that you got to be pretty tone deaf to think that I got to be 700 pounds and 40 years old, or Lindy got to be, 800 pounds and 50 years old, or Michael got to be 700 pounds and 50 years old. And none of us ever tried a calorie restrictive diet before. You know what I mean? Like we just sat here going, oh no, guess what? We're 7 pounds. I guess we should probably try, lowering our calorie intake for the first time. It's like, that didn't happen to any of us, and so that was another thing I wanted to talk about is, yes, calories don't mean nothing. And on paper, it is true that if you restrict your calories, you can lose weight. But clearly that's not the answer, because that the calorie in, calorie out hypothesis had its time to work. Man, we've been pushing that for 70, 80 years now, really hard. And how have we done as a society on that dogma? How is it taking care of us? Is it making us healthier? Is it making us a less fat population? Is it making us a less disease ridden and inflammation ridden population by pushing that stupid dogma over and over and over again? Or is it just keeping people in bondage and making things worse? And I think that answer is pretty freaking obvious. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I definitely think it's a band-aid. Like, yeah, you can reduce your calories. We've all done it before, but why can't we sustain that? Why do we keep failing that? Something is pulling us to keep eating. So I'd restrict calories, I'd do all the diets, I'd last 2 or 3 days, but that monster, the carb monster, whatever it is, it's always calling you. You know, you need to stop, you need to keep, eat something, or I've been good all week. It's time, let's have a treat. There's always something that was pulling us. And then you just fall off and you'd spiral for a month or 2 months and you gain everything back again, plus a little bit more. And that's been the pattern all my life. I have been on diets, every diet. I've had lap band surgery, even that failed. It didn't fix any of my issues. And as I said before, I literally felt broken. A lot of people have got an off switch. They know what to do. They can restrict their food, moderate their food, they can exercise, do all this stuff. Why couldn't I do it? I don't know, but I can now, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it successfully. 2 years now, doing what I'm doing. Oh, sorry. Yay. So,
Absolutely. And that's exactly the point. It's like,
think back to your other diets that you've done in your past. We've all done so many diets: protein shakes, Atkins, South Beach. We've done them all. Some people did the Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig's, and all that stuff. But doing carnivore gave us the one thing that none of the other diets ever gave us. Okay, and what is that? It's the thought of not thinking of food anymore. That's the key to this diet right here. I don't think about food at all. I think about it at breakfast time when it's time to eat, because I know I get hungry. And then I think about it at dinner time. That's it. It's the only 2 times a day I think about it. No more. Before, it was a constant thing. I could just get done eating, come back, sit down, and then I would know that there was food in the fridge, or that I enjoyed my dinner so much that it would be in my head. And the only way I can get that thought out of my head was to go eat. I was addicted. Just like somebody's addicted to drugs, alcohol, or anything else, I was addicted to it. I did not see that until I got to the other side. And that's what carnivore gave me.
Exactly. And like
I
Lindy said, go for it.
I often talk about food freedom. I find this a completely freeing way of life for me. I don't have those constant nagging thoughts in my head. I can just eat, turn off, and then live my life, which I never had before. And people comment on that and say, "You call eating meat freedom?"
It is.
I'm like, well, to me it is, because I'm no longer 800 pounds. I'm no longer I don't restrict my food. I eat as much as I want, carnivore foods, and I switch off, and then I go off and do my thing. To me, that is freeing.
And that is your freedom. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There's no better. See, they don't understand it from our side because they never walked in our shoes. I would give anybody a 1 week with the shit that we dealt with all these years, and I guarantee you they won't make it, because they would have no idea on how we make it each day. Guarantee it. How do you get into the shower? How do you go to the bathroom? How do you do all this stuff? They're not going to be able to know it. They won't have a clue on how to deal with it. How to deal with lymphedema that I'm dealing with. Okay? I'll give anybody a week, and no one will be able to do it. I guarantee it.
Especially with your lymphedema, Michael, that stuff is really rough. And I agree. And then, playing devil's advocate, these people would sit here and say, well, how did you let yourself get to that point? And it's like, I just want to step back for a minute and listen to what you're really saying. You really think that we sat here sliding off this cliff and we're complacent and we're going along with it because we were just so happy to be complacent and have our heads stuck in the sand to do this? It's like, no, I was telling you guys when we were talking about it, I've been dieting and trying to stop this train wreck from happening since I was like 9 years old, right? Like, I've been trying this stuff, and I tried everything. And the only thing that ever worked until carnivore was starvation diets, like literally just not eating. But those were not sustainable. Eating in moderation, I didn't have any, that was ridiculous. If I ate anything, it just would set off my brain, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was just like a drug addict. Like I had to have more. Your brain was on that stuff 24/7, so it was actually easier just to not eat for days at a time than it was to try to eat in moderation on these, the sugar and this nonsense, and it really truly is an addiction. And we got to stop being so naive when we look at those things. And when you say stuff like, how could you let yourself get there? It's like, what do you mean let, like that's what's really screwed up about it is, it's something that happens, and yeah, we all had a part to play in it. We were the addicts, we were the ones eating the bad stuff, and we were there, but we also literally knew it was killing us. And we were trying to stop, but we literally could not stop doing it. And what I'm telling people is, and our message is, there is hope, because I don't crave anything anymore. I'm not that person that had that problem anymore. And that had not a damn thing to do with restricting calories. That had everything to do with eating carnivore that gave us the freedom. So even if you believe in the calorie restrictive, thermodynamic hypothesis nonsense, that's fine. I guess technically on paper you have a point, but the point is I could never achieve that, and I could never do that until I healed my body, had the fats for the hormones to heal my hormones, and then that peace and that strength and that healing and that wholeness even transcended outside of the diet and went into things like nicotine addiction and gambling addictions for me, and healed it. It freed me from it. And that was when I realized these are all very similar things. I was as much a sugar addict as I was a nicotine addict and a gambling addict before. And that's what it really was, is when we're broken, we're like, I don't know if it's, to me, it seemed to always be the anxiety, but it was a way of fixing this chaos and this constant torment that was going on in my head, looking for these compulsive releases to do these things that would make things feel better. It really is being sick. Your body is sick and it's needing something, and you're trying to get it from all these different releases. I don't know. What do you think, Lindy?
Oh, the 50 million thoughts went through my head and now they're all gone again. I'm a little bit all stirred up right now.
No
But
worries.
yeah, we definitely were broken. None of us chose to be this weight. No one wanted to get here. It just happens. Like you sort of think, I mean, everybody deals with it. My friends, even now they're like, oh, I'm starting my diet tomorrow. I'm starting my diet on Monday. I hear this every day, you know, that they're eating healthy, that they're going to start their diet, and they know how to fix it by balancing their diet, restricting their meals, reducing calories, not having processed stuff. This is what they tell me. And I just nod. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't preach or say anything. They've watched me lose all this weight, but they're still back in those old sort of thoughts. But if it's that easy, just do it. He can't.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we would have done it.
Right.
We couldn't do it. I can't see how they're going to do it. And they've been trying for years and years and years, and it's not working because something is broken. They don't have that off switch. Something's not right. And some people, they can do it. Other people can't. And so that's why everybody has their own journey, whether you lose weight being a vegan, a carnivore, doing calorie restriction. Like, I don't give a hoot. I mean, you do what works for you. And for us, carnivore is working. We've all lost massive amounts of weight. We've got our mental clarity back. We can sustain this diet. We're all doing so well with it. And stop telling us that we're killing ourselves. We were dead. All three of us were so lucky that we're still here.
We are.
Like,
Oh,
seriously,
we are.
we have got our lives back.
Yeah, very
Um,
true.
and we're not telling people you have to be carnivore. We're just telling people what works for us. And if you've tried everything else, this may be an option you can consider. If it doesn't work, move on to something else. But, don't just throw it away. I started carnivore thinking I was going to die. I needed to make a change. I see carnivore, I'm like, I'm going to have a heart attack. Great. it might end my life quicker than the slow poison that I was putting myself through. That's why I started Carnivore, to speed up the process, because I didn't want to be here anymore. And who knew I would get my life back?
Right. Right. And even more so, you weren't even just trying to save your life because you wanted to live anymore. I know very, very much so. You really just get to the point where I'm sure for you, like it was your why. You're like, I got to be here for my kids and my family
Exactly.
and stuff. Right.
Mm,
Because if you didn't have that, you would have just probably been just fine heading out. And I know exactly what you mean. I was in the same spot and I was like, man, if I didn't have, for me, it was my brother and my brother and my dad died, and it was the rest of my family. I was sitting here, man, they went through, you know, a lot of hell here the last few months. And I was like, I don't need to be
yeah,
doing this. And I got put at a crossroads where I was either gonna have to get healthy, so I'd stop, I couldn't be another burden and another death on the family like that through this type of,
yeah,
so you get put at a crossroads. And yeah, I threw a Hail Mary too at Carnivore. I was like, I think this can work, but not for me. I didn't think it was going to work, but at least I was going to go out fighting, and then here it was. I know Michael's
yeah,
I did the restrictive calories of 800 calories a day. Okay. And the whole time, white knuckling the whole time, because all I kept thinking about was food. And I tried just eating turkey. I tried just eating pork, lean cuts of meat. Nothing ever gave me the freedom that I have now of not thinking of food anymore. That right there is the biggest game changer for me. The only way I ever thought I would ever get to where I am today is by getting dual denal gastric bypass. That's what I had it. That's what I thought the key was to this whole thing is I needed to get that. I never thought just by changing and cutting out a whole bunch of different types of food and just sticking to meat is going to change my life this much. This is, I'm down 160 some pounds in 7 months. Okay, I, that's better than you're going to get with a gastric bypass.
for sure. Um, I'm going to answer this for Phil, since how it's on topic here. Uh, yeah, I don't know, when I was young, from the time I was a kid, my mom was taking this, it was a drug called imipramine for chemical imbalance. She always had to take, and then my sister was on it. And then, but when I was a kid, all I knew is I would always have, I was constantly having night terrors, and I was constantly, and this is when I was 7, 8 years old. I mean, I'd wake up and sleepwalk, screaming and having these night terrors, and they said that that was chemical imbalance for me when I was young. I had underactive thyroid. I had adrenal gland issues. My total testosterone was 237, which I didn't find out till I was 36 years old that it was that bad. And I started reading Jason Fung's book, and I had to request a testosterone test, and my doctor didn't think it was necessary. And it came back 237, which he said it was the lowest score he'd seen. And so that surprised me and it made me very mad. But long story short, I was just riddled with anxiety, like crippling anxiety. Like I could only think about an hour ahead each day, and I'd have to have these little benchmarks just to get through the day. Like, when you wake up in the morning, get to the bathroom, get some water on your face, and for me it was drink a Coca-Cola, drink something cold, and to give me a little bit of boost of energy, and then that would get me to getting dressed, and that would get me to getting to work and things like that. And then it was just, if I thought about everything that I had to do that day, it was just, you just almost freeze up. It was crazy how crippling that anxiety was, and that was seemed to be hand in hand with depression, because you can only live an hour ahead and do that thing one step at a time for so long, and you just want out of this whole thing. And that came with the health problems and the weight and everything. But when I started doing carnivore, within 3 weeks of doing carnivore, my depression was almost completely gone. and anxiety was 99% better. I would only have it like at 3 o'clock in the morning when your cortisol hits you. So like early in the morning, that was the only time that I had any sign of anxiety. And then that took another 5.5 weeks for that to basically go away. And I stopped even having that terrible anxiety in the morning. And I greatly contribute that to the high fat diet. I think it was the animal fats that really fixed that. And also, getting rid of the sugar and the artificial sweeteners, but I still had terrible low testosterone. And it wasn't until I think it was October of September of last year. September of last
When you
year started doing the eggs. And I'd read that eggs have a bunch of DHEA in them. And that if you eat 36 eggs a day, they said it's like taking testosterone replacement. For bodybuilders used to do that, I guess back in like the 70s and 60s, that they would eat 36 eggs a day and they believed that it was the same as a steroid cycle. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try that. And so for 90 days, until the end of the year, basically, I ate 36 eggs a day. And through eating those eggs and through priming with SBG, I had always had, since I was a kid, had a pretty raging gambling addiction that I had put on the back burner, but it was always there. It was always a monkey on my back. And I was chewing nearly 2 cans of Copenhagen a day of nicotine. And during that time, all that completely disappeared. And all of a sudden, I didn't want nicotine anymore. It was like my body told me I was done with the nicotine. And on October 26th of 2023, I quit a 26-year nicotine habit cold turkey. And I was slightly craving it for 13 days, and then the craving completely went away. And I haven't touched nicotine since then. And I truly contribute that to hormonally. I think that the driving factor to most all of those things that I was looking for relief from, and that I was using gambling and nicotine and sugar and food and compulsive behaviors, I think it all came from the anxiety. The anxiety was just tormenting, and I had it my whole life. It was the most tormenting, obnoxious stuff. It was either there was just constant fear. And it was just crippling. You couldn't, it just make it impossible to decide what to work on first. It all seemed overwhelming, and then you just felt like there's some impending doom all the time. It was just crazy. And yeah, 3 dozen eggs. It was a chore. I think if I would have had done that for another month, I would have grown feathers, but for sure. And it really did work. And I at the beginning of the year, I'd never done lion diet. And so I wanted to try it. So right now I'm about 71 days into a 90-day lion diet challenge. But as soon as I'm done with my 90-day lion diet, I'm going to start doing the 36 eggs again, because since I've been off them for 71 days, I miss them. And I can definitely tell that it was making a difference. But also, and when we go to Austin this summer, I mean, I am going to get a blood panel and see where my testosterone is at now. But I'm kind of waiting to share that with everybody at Austin, and that'll be about my 18-month mark anyways. So that's kind of what I'm planning on.
Yeah, I think we're all going in for a blood panel and get the whole works done. Yeah.
Absolutely. We better start answering some questions, because we got a bunch of star questions here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Take it up to the top. Tell me if you can read these, Lindy, or otherwise I'll read them if you can't.
Okay, Lindy, can you tell me what a rebounder is good for besides excess fluid in body tissues? Okay, that's my little rebounder behind me. It's a little Jump Sport Pro. And it's just, I think there's a Dr. Eric Berg has a video. So if you type Dr. Eric Berg rebounder, he has a fantastic video. It's about 3 years old. But he talks about NASA astronauts using the rebounder for bone density and muscle mass, improving those, because when you're up in space, they tend to lose a lot of bone density and muscle mass. So it really helps them with that sort of side of things. But 5 minutes of gentle rebounding is the equivalent of 20 minutes walking. So that gives me 15 minutes extra in my day to do
Oh,
other stuff. So I get up in the morning and I jump on there for 5 minutes. I don't jump like a crazy because I can't physically do that. Gentle bouncing, my feet don't leave the mat, and I just jump on the spot. And I'll occasionally use my arms and do like sort of star jump kind of movements, and that makes me bounce a little bit harder, but my feet do not leave the mat. So 5 minutes, I'll listen to 2 songs or a bit of YouTube while I do it. And then I sit down and do my work. If I get up and go to the toilet or grab a drink, I have to do another 5 minutes before I can sit down on my chair. So I get a few rounds every day. So every time I'm on there, that's like a 20-minute walk, but it only takes me 5 minutes. But definitely helps with my edema, the fluid in my limbs. Your lymphatic system is, I think, the only system in your body that doesn't have its own pump. So you need to move. And because I'm sitting here a lot with my job, it's all online based, emails and stuff like that. I don't move a lot. I do have the vibration plate under my desk, which is currently broken. So I'm not even getting movement from that anymore. But the rebounder is helping me big time to pump that fluid around my body. I just feel more energized. Like it just oxygenates my brain, my body. I feel good after doing it. I just feel happier. So it's definitely getting lots of benefits from it. I just haven't figured them all out yet, but I'm addicted to it. And for someone who hates exercise, that didn't move much, to actually enjoy doing something physical is a win for me. So
no, I think you've talked me into it this summer when I turn the garage into a little gym. I'm going to be putting a
yeah.
rebounder in there for sure.
Yeah, and I've been doing quite a bit of work with my daughter at her shop, and I'm on my feet quite a bit, moving around, lifting things, and I come home, I'm crooked. My back's sore and my bones and muscles are sore. I do a gentle rebound, my 5 minutes, and it's like all my muscle aches disappear. It kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a bit of stretching, that movement, but all the aches and pains that I have from being on my feet and working just seem to melt and go away. Who would have thought? So,
Exactly.
yeah, no,
Um,
it's really good.
Here's another rebounding question. Can you tell them what it's good for? Or let's see. Can you tell me what a rebounder is good for besides
I
excess
think
body?
that's the
Same question. Same question.
Oh,
same question.
how that one came back in here. Okay. 'Cause I even got rid of it. All right.
Being carnivore now, but think I've never become fat adapted because I don't have the success others have had. I still don't sleep through the night. Very stressed out too.
Okay. Been carnivore now. I think I've been.
I wonder how long she's been carnivore.
Yeah. That would be a good question for sure. And then, because why do you think you're not? Because if you're not fat adapted, but you're not eating carbs, you would definitely, you're going to know it because you're going to have hardly any energy at all. I mean, you're going to be drained and consistently drained if that's the case.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you can follow up on that, I would, how long you've been doing it and why you think you're not fat adapted.
I'll just throw in there as well. We've come from an extremely morbid state. Like 800 pounds it's big. So any change in our diet, whether we go vegan, like reduce calorie, like we're going to lose some kind of weight and very quickly because we are so extreme. Whereas people that are a lot closer to their goal, that only have a few pounds or, even 100 pounds, that weight loss will not come off as quickly. We also all have lymphedema, a lot of edema in our bodies. And I guess this is back to other trials I've had. It's physically impossible to lose that much fat or weight, in such a short time. But we did never ever claim that we lost fat. We lost weight, and that includes edema, the fluid in our bodies. So, yeah, even now, as of this morning, I'm around 270 to high 260s. 124 kilos, so I'm not sure how that converts. Weight loss has slowed right down for me. Like, I'm not losing crazy amounts of weight like I used to. I've been hovering here for like 3 or 4 weeks now. It's the same range. It's like everything is slowed right down, but that's okay for me. So I am kind of a little bit like everyone else, where I'm like, oh, I just want to keep losing weight and I'm in a hurry, but I've lost so much weight. This is for life. I'm not going to stop this when I reach my goal. I will continue being carnivore, and maybe I'll open up my diet a little bit for social events, but then day to day, it's going to be carnivore, because I know I will easily slip back into those old patterns again if I start introducing carbs. But yeah, don't be in a hurry. It will take time, especially if you haven't got these large amounts to lose. It will happen. But definitely join a community. I love Steak and Butter Gang. I've been in lots of communities, tried them all. I always fall on Steak and Butter Gang because they're just beautiful people, and it's not all about weight loss. It's more about the healing. Your body needs to be healed before it will let go of the weight. If you've got a lot of issues, and half the time you don't even know what issues you've got, your body knows. It will fix those issues, and when it's safe, it will start to let go of the weight. And this is what we are taught in SBG Gang. Heal your body first, and the weight loss, it's a cherry on top. It will happen. You just got to be patient.
That brings up a lot of good points too, because one, there's no correlation to weight being causing disease exactly. We think we're taught that we have all these health problems because we're carrying this extra weight. But I think that it's pretty obvious that the weight is also a symptom that comes along with these other health problems like congestive heart failure and these things. It's all the same kind of metabolic disease, and the weight is just a symptom of it. And so, the weight may be fat, but like Lindy said, it's also a lot of times it's lymphatic fluid. It's just fluid retention from inflammation, from a high carb diet.
Not moving.
And yeah, and so I don't know where this pushback comes from with people saying there's no way that you lost that much fat. It's just fluid. Well, of course it's fluid. But let me tell you, 80 pounds of fluid feels pretty fantastic not to carry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a real deal. But I was gonna say, just like Lindy was saying, I averaged for like the first 7 months, I averaged about 22 pounds or so of weight loss a month on average. But I started so big that that's only 3%, and that was pretty much my max. I had a big week or something when I first started and got a bunch of fluid off, but that's 3%. That's the same as a 200-pound person losing 6 pounds a month. So don't get down on yourself if you say, I lost 5 pounds this month, or I didn't even carry that average. Sometimes I was only losing 12 pounds in a month. As big as I was, it was still between a 1.5% and 3%. And so don't ever get down on yourself if you only lost, if you think you only lost 3 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound. Plus, don't forget there's a composition change that's happening. You might be seeing the net negative of the body mass on the scale, but you're also building lean tissue.
Look at you, Todd. You went up in weight, but you lost shirt sizes. You lost 2 shirt sizes.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So I'll take muscle over fat any day, or
exactly.
Or fluid,
and that right there tells you that that this isn't an exact correlation to weight. Less weight equals more health. It's like we're brainwashed to think that, but it's not real.
Do you all fast during your carnivore journey? Good question. Todd?
Who wants to go first? Okay.
Michael?
I definitely. So I did intermittent fasting for the first 9 months, where I only ate one meal a day, which I really love just because of the simplicity of only eating one meal a day is pretty awesome. But then I stalled because I was under eating. And then I primed, which was great because crazy stuff happened, like hair growing after 22 years of being bald, and my lymphedema getting much, much better. The scaly skin on my legs healing up from lymphedema getting much, much better. My eyesight got much, much better. I got way stronger. I was still having huge composition changes, but that happened. And then once I was good and primed, I went back into fasting. But I recently took a break because between the fasting and the priming, I think there was a fun little thing that happened to me. And I think that the metabolic pathway for gluconeogenesis had healed up or had become way more efficient. I don't think it was ever gone, but I think it became way more efficient. And I think all of a sudden, what I was dealing with was that my body was able to make glucose out of protein quicker than it was able to get to stored fat. So I started spiking my insulin again with protein, and I came to this conclusion because I was talking to a guy that literally had seen this happen a few times, and he said, "Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing where you can get away with eating a lot of protein at first because your body's not super efficient at making glucose out of protein at first." But he said, as you start to heal, if you have a lymphatic blockage problem or a problem with your lymphatic system, it can actually become kind of the path of least resistance in your body to turn that protein into glucose rather than go after stored body fat. So recently, to get that figured out, I stopped fasting. I was eating in an 84-hour window a week, and I was fasting 84 hours a week. So I would eat Monday through Thursday, and I'd fast Thursday night through Monday morning. And and I gained 2 pounds to it. My body was not liking it at that particular time. So recently I dropped my protein down, started breaking it up into smaller meals, and I doubled my fat. So I eat 2 grams of fat for every 1 gram of protein that I'm eating. And that seems to be doing the trick right now. So now that I want to give this a couple weeks to get this good and balanced out. But next week, I'm probably going to go back to my 84 fasting routine and kind of get that back in the works. How about you guys?
I was doing fasting on and off, but not as much as I really like to. I did my 21-day fast in January, and I just did a 4-day fast about a week ago. So I want to start getting back into it, but I crashed after my 21-day fast. I think I went from being such high on in ketosis, my meter would 99 every day, and I know I was way over that. And then when my fast ended, I crashed. I had no energy. I was just low, and slowly, after talking with Todd and Lindy a little bit, I started bringing some fat back in, started eating some tallow, and I'm starting to slowly feel back normal again. Starting to get rid of that brain fog, and
For sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I haven't really been a very good faster. I haven't been able to. Don't know if it's the mental thing or whatever, but I basically intermittent fast naturally. And occasionally, I might skip a day here or there, but that's only because I'm out and about and I don't want to go off plan if we're out and I'm not haven't got anything. And I can do that, not a problem. I don't have an issue with skipping a day of meals. So I just go day by day how I feel. Occasionally, I might not be hungry and I'll skip a day, but I don't plan any fasts at all. It just happens naturally for me if I do it.
Catherine Van Wickler wants to know. She says, "I'm 70 days carnivore, zero weight loss. Why?" I go first. Okay, for sure. One, I think we need to know more. Like, I thought that I was doing like keto carnivore too, but it took me being real strict at first. I had to do BBB&E, and if you don't know what that is, it's bacon, beef, butter, and eggs only. I had to eliminate all seasonings. I had to eliminate all even diet sweeteners, and then I had to eat, with a kind of a purpose and do intermittent fasting. I did a lot of things, some of them wrong, some of them right. But before it made the difference, a lot of the times when I used to think that I was eating keto or ketovore and not having luck, there's a lot of hidden junk and stuff that I didn't think was there. So it'd be interesting to see how clean you're eating, how
much
you really are. And then at that point, if you really are eating it all very clean and there's nothing sneaking in there you don't know about that might be sabotaging you, then you're very, very likely under eating, because that's the other thing that'll
Mm,
stall you out is when you're under eating real
I
bad.
know it happened to me.
yeah. Dr. Berry has a cool video, and I think it's like 7 reasons or 13 reasons why you're not losing weight. So that's definitely worth looking into, because it could be anything, lack of sleep. I mean, there's so many things. Are you doing dairy? Dairy stores me big time.
Yep.
It also gives me a lot of extra fluid that really ramps up the lymphedema and I swell up. So that could be. Again, I wouldn't be focusing on the scales. Look at your composition. Are there changes there? How do your clothes feel? Because I think carnivores are going to be naturally heavier because they've got that extra bone density and the muscle mass. And the fat may be dropping, but you're getting heavier in your bones and muscles. So you could be losing fat, but gaining in that area. So it's not going to reflect on the scale. So definitely see how your clothes are feeling as well. But check out Dr. Berry's video. I think Michael's linked it for you.
I am. It's it's actually a Bella video she did with Dr. Berry.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and also check out the SBG gang, the Steak and Butter gang, too, because I mean those guys. If you're struggling with something, I love that it's such a community think tank in there that you get to feed off of everybody else who's having similar issues, coming up with, solving these problems differently, or they're linking actual real life results and trial and error, and coming up with some great solutions. And so if you want to check that out, I think that would be the best thing for you, is having a community.
I just posted a link to that.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. I have so many questions. You are probably never sick of hearing questions.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. So I will just ask one every now and then. What type of meat was the most common you ate, and was your fasting routine, and how often?
That's 3 questions.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I used to eat porterhouse every day. Porterhouse steak. What's that in America? I think it was New York strip, was it?
Oh, porterhouse is a thick T-bone. Your porterhouse, I think, where you were from, is actually a New York strip.
Yeah, but I've got an aversion to that now because I think I ate it every day, so I have to eat different meats now. So Scotch fillet's my new one, and I find it a lot fattier and easier to eat.
And what is that? I never heard of that before. What is that? Do you know?
Say that one more. Scotch fillet. No, I'm not sure. I think when I was looking at it, I was just kind of looking at it. It seems to be it seems to almost be like a what do they call that? A chuck eye steak to me, because it looks like a weird cut of ribeye to me. It has kind of an eye to it in that center, but it doesn't have the ribeye cap that I would see in an American ribeye. So it's it's almost like a capless ribeye.
What's it called again?
Scotch fillet.
Yeah, because the porterhouse has the fat on the outside, but inside the meat is very lean, and I find it tends to get stuck. Whereas the Scotch fillet, it's marbled more, and it's so much easier to get down.
Yeah, so I would imagine that that's
Very
either
tender.
some strange, that it's a strange ribeye without the cap on it, or it's a chuck eye steak. One of those two.
It comes from the forecorner of the rib section.
Well, that'd be a ribeye.
Well, it's delicious, and it's
very ribeyes are wonderful.
Ribeye steak with the bone removed.
Ribeye steak with bone. But okay, ask this specific question. Ask if the ribeye cap is cut off of a Scotch fillet, because that's what it looks like to me. Is that it's a ribeye missing the rib cap.
Why can't we just all eat the same? Like, why do they have to have different names for different cuts? And
they like to confuse us.
Yeah. Sure. But I do favor.
It is a ribeye. It's what they call it. Scotch fillet is a ribeye in Australia and New Zealand. The boneless ribeye.
All right, but every time I see them, they're missing the cap. They're just the eye and the point. They don't have the cap, and I'm like,
Because
what
they
kind of
cut all the fat off here. Like whenever you buy a steak, and even roast everything, you have to ask for the fat, and they really don't like to give it to you.
They also call it whiskey fillet.
whiskey fillet?
It's funny how they use all the alcohol, huh? All the alcohol
Right.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never
Scotch,
heard of
Scotch
that.
and whiskey and
Yeah.
So yeah, mine is the ribeye. I just pretty much eat red meat. Like I'll eat some pork here and there, and I'll have some, occasionally some turkey. I like lamb. Lamb's really good, and I'll have some salmon. But honestly, red meat for me is just, it makes me feel like $1,000,000. It's very easy to get a hold of, and I just don't get tired of eating it. To be honest with you,
rib to have a tenderloin
or
portion.
tenderloin portion of beef. Oh, that makes sense. Let's see. What was his other questions?
Fasting routine. Yeah.
Trying to get back to it, but at first, when you're first doing it, you should just prime and not worry about fasting. You should not worry about fasting until you're sick of eating and until you are completely free from cravings. Like some people, they say, "Hey, I want to fast and everything," but then you talk to them and they can't seem to, they can't get 2 weeks in a row without having like a slip up.
Setback,
And
yeah.
yeah, and if you're still struggling with slip ups or white
Don't
knuckling
rush.
things, do not fast.
Yeah.
Just eat. Just eat.
Everybody wants to lose weight as fast as possible. Believe me, it's a slow process. It takes time.
Right. Remember in the Patriot when he was doing the aim small, miss small, and fast is slow thing. I really think that
Same.
works for carnivore.
Applies to
Like
this.
fast
Yeah.
is slow, and slow is fast. You really have to.
What's Dr. Berry say?
The vitamin P patience.
That's right. Patience. It takes
Yeah.
time.
So, but once you're there, my personal fasting routine is I enjoy either OMADs or I like to fast 84 hours at a time. I've done the 36s, the rolling 36s and 48s. For me, I like the 84s then because it's like once you go to the work of doing a 48, you're just starting to for me, I just was starting to get the benefit out of it. Now, this all may change because I was doing that and having a heck of a time getting into ketosis when I was doing it. Now, since I up the fat, I'm in ketosis all the time. So my mind might change because I haven't fasted since I've been doing this 80% fat to protein ratio.
Now that I've been having more fat, my numbers are starting to go back up. I hit a 17 today.
You go,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. I've been stuck at 3 and 4.
Exactly.
I hit 17. So
Michael, you were exactly where I was getting frustrated
Yes.
just for that whole couple months. And finally I upped it. Yeah, and like this morning I was at a 38 at that same meter, and I haven't been below a 20 now since I've been doing this, and it's like, okay.
you just feel so much better. Your mind works better. Your energy level is so much better. It's unreal.
I know. The only bad part, the downside to it has been I've had so much energy, I've been fighting with trolls online because I feel like it. 4. That was kind
We
of
love
funny.
trolls. Day 70 carnivore. My blood sugars are better from high 300s to 140s. I sleep better, no cheating, pain way better, 0 weight loss. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You're doing great.
It'll come. Just keep doing. Look at your numbers that you change with your blood sugar.
Yeah,
300 to
you're
140.
healing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Just think you're going to get off the meds for that.
absolutely.
You are
That's
healing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it takes time. Have patience. The weight will come. I believe me. The weight will come.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just had to go, and this is honestly God truth. I want to lose weight. I want to look better. I want to like be able to buy smaller clothes. I want to fit in things better. I want to do all those things. However, if I stayed the very weight that I'm at right now for the rest of my life, but I still got to feel this good and feel this strong, like I still wouldn't go back. Right?
No,
I like it's
never.
still not worth going back to where it was. This is so freeing. I had a troll comment yesterday. It said, "Well, it can't be that freeing if you can't have carbs." And I was thinking, well, I think that depends on where you came from. Like for me, I mean, this means I get to walk again and drive again. So it's 110% that freeing for me, you know. So I really think it depends on your situation, but for me, this diet is no joke. It's a new chance at life. And it's
It
not
is.
just freeing, it's a whole second chance, you know.
Yeah. Hi, Patty. What are your experiences fasting? Do you, don't you, duration, frequency, favorite, least favorite, biggest hurdles? When does it get better? Do you just get high from fasting? When does it happen? Gosh, well, I
I
don't
mean,
fast. I don't, yeah, I don't plan my fast. I just fast intermittently whenever I want. Like it
Yeah.
just happens. And I don't white knuckle. If I'm hungry, I have to eat. And I think white knuckling and fasting it doesn't go. You shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, you go, Todd. You guys are more the faster than me. I've only done them
yeah,
on 5 days.
I mean, I definitely I think that fasting's great, and I think that there's a huge you know, a huge motivation for me to do it, which is healing. For it's healing for you know, for my neuropathy, healing for the lymphatic system. You know, I had congestive heart failure, so healing for that, I think you know, I think autophagy and mitophagy is super important. And so I like that, but I still have to put, you know, staying I still have to put feeling good and having energy and feeling strong in front of that. So you really do have to be primed and fed and you know, have proper nutrition and fill this nutrient, you know, void that you had probably coming into carnivore like we all did because we all ate the sad diet, which man, we're all starving. We're all deficient in a lot of things, you know, fat and protein and, you know, minerals being some of the biggest ones. But once you do some priming, and you might want to check out the SBG gang for that, because I think they do it the best for sure. In fact, that they're the original
They got the
kind
best
of,
plan. Right.
yeah, they have the best plan for it. You can kind of see what we're talking about, but don't put the weight loss, don't put the numbers on the scale ahead of healing. Remember, this isn't a weight loss diet, it's a healing diet where the bonus the icing on the cake is weight loss.
Put the scale away. Don't worry about the weight.
Shoot
It'll
it,
come.
put it in the dumpster, bury it in the backyard. Whatever you have to do, put that dang thing away, but it'll come for sure.
I don't plan my fast. That happens when it happens. I eat when I'm hungry, and I don't eat when I'm not. Simple as that. I ate dinner last night 6 o'clock, and I didn't eat again till 4 o'clock before we start getting ready for the show. So
Absolutely.
20 some hour fast.
Let's see here. Did we already answer this one?
Yeah, I think so. Mm.
Okay, that must be a duplicate. All right.
Carnivore is the only way of eating that took away my sugar cravings fast. Yeah, that
For me.
food freedom. Food
That's
freedom.
Yep, I was gonna say that's the freedom we keep talking about.
That's life changing right there. Believe me.
Absolutely.
Off switch.
Never had it with any other diet. Never experienced it before in my life. Didn't know how bad it was until you become free from it, and you can look back and see the difference.
What do you all do if there's no carnivore option if you are traveling or on social occasions?
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast
For
as best
social
you can.
occasions, I like to eat before I go. Make sure I'm
Or-
nice and full. And that way when you get there, you can just pick on a little bit of cheese or whatever, but at least you're full, so you're not really wanting
if you-
anything else.
And if you do have to eat, try to make it as carnivore as much as you can.
Yeah.
And
Stick to
also
the meat.
keep in mind too, don't if something ends up, you know, if you get in a real pickle and you're not in position to fast yet, or if you're not, you kind of haven't developed that fasting muscle, and you do the best you can and it's not perfect, just shake it off. Shake
Right.
it off and get right back to it. The very next meal, the
As
very
soon as you
next
can.
minute,
Right.
yeah, just
Yeah.
don't let it spiral. Is the biggest thing. Don't feel like you lost
Yeah,
all your progress
right.
or your, you know,
Don't let it get to you. The depression's going to do more to you than what you just had.
for sure. Just shake it off.
Eating yourself in.
Yep, it happened. You learn from it. You know that those are things maybe you do prepare better next time if you can. You know, like Emily says, have some purse bacon, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. But you know, but if you get caught with your pants down and you kind of have a bad day, just shake it off. That's the biggest thing. Just don't make it 2 bad days. Don't make it 3. Don't feel guilty about it. Life's tough. Just shake it off and move on.
Michael, spot on. Today we hosted 8 for lunch after church, and I made an 18-pound beef brisket overnight. We had all kinds of sides for everyone, but I ate only brisket. Food freedom.
Food freedom. That's right.
Awesome.
Amazing,
Awesome.
Phil.
I like chicken wings in the air fryer. Is that enough fat?
No, not even close, actually.
Chicken don't
Yeah.
have enough fat.
Nope. Definitely add fat to it. Have something on the side, tallow, butter,
Tallow, butter. Yep.
eggs.
Exactly.
Egg yolks are good, but yeah, you're gonna have to add some fat to that for sure.
I find when I eat chicken, it doesn't satiate me. So within the hour, I'm searching for food again. So
I haven't eaten chicken in months. I don't eat it no more.
That's awesome. Oh, thank you, Sandra. That's awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, I haven't had chicken in 14 months myself.
I've never heard of someone so big like Lindy doing carnivore just until a week ago. I have seen someone doing keto, but not that size, I'm sure. I'm not sure what Dr. Now diet was. I think he just does low carb. He says to prioritize protein. But I was surprised to hear Lindy was doing carnivore. Yeah. Dr. Now prioritizes protein, but it's more low carb, so lots of salads and vegetables and protein. And I think it's a calorie restriction too. I think he gives them a calorie count.
And it's just like, that's the thing. Yes, we end up eating less calories when we're satiated, when we're nourished after those things happen, when we heal. We do end up eating less because we require less for maintenance, but that's just a maintenance stage. There's so many things that need to happen healing wise through there. And so can you imagine being a malnourished person weighing 600 pounds and then the professionals put you in a hospital room or whatever and then make you starve yourself? And that's the answer. Like, what freaking torture that absolute nightmare of a mess is. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's a miracle the you 3 came together and a joy to see how you complement each other. Once seen, you just can't unsee it. Oh, thanks, Sandra.
You're awesome, Sandra. Appreciate it.
The word carnivore needs to be changed to hormonal balance food.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd, can you say you've done that
Sorry,
one?
I did that one. Okay. Here we go.
Lindy, do you drink coffee? If not, what do you drink? I did go off coffee for quite a while, but I've only started introducing it every now and then. When I go out, I drink it socially now. And I did have one this morning because I was a little bit stressed with my haters. And I think I'm going to have a coffee. But I just add a little bit of butter to get some fat in. And I just have it's a long black, but it's all water. I top it up with water, so it's very diluted. But not every day, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'll have a coffee. But I don't find that it affects me at all. I can sleep like a baby and I don't have any ill effects from having it. So I think it's okay for me.
When I did my 21-day fast, I gave up coffee and I'm drinking it now. I really didn't notice a difference being off of it. I missed it. I missed it's what I look forward to in the morning. I've been drinking coffee since I was like 12, getting up in the morning and having a cup with my mom. So
and it does affect a lot of people, but not everybody. And you just need to see how it works with you. So try it without coffee for 30 days. See how you
see
go.
if it makes a difference. Right.
And then,
I believe that's great advice too, because I think that if you're healthy and you are metabolically healthy and your hormones are balanced, I think you should be able to quit anything. I don't think you should be an addict to anything. I don't think you should be and I'm not saying this is going to be super no problem whatsoever easy, but it should be very attainable and you should be able to sustain quitting anything you want to quit, and then quit it for 30, 60, 90 days and then go back and add it in, and you're going to see for real. It's funny, but I never see the negative effects of anything until I get off of it for about 90 days and then go try it again. And then I see what it does to me. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's pretty much
Yeah.
my protocol for everything now. How about you guys?
Yeah. Well, like if you're on the road and the coffee's not available, like it's not the end of the world for me. I don't have to have that coffee every morning to start my day and be grumpy all day because I haven't had it. And I think that's a really good position to be in. But if you have to have that coffee every morning, then maybe it is something that you need to work on.
I like it in the wintertime, and it's winter here. And in the summertime, I hardly have coffee. So it's just something that I enjoy in the winter.
Hi, IQ. Have you guys ever tried sleeping on the floor? I have been using a thick trifold mat and noticed my body is more loose, relaxed, and moving around feels easier. Also sleeping more. If I could get on the floor.
Yeah. If I got on the floor, I'd have to call Todd to help him come over and pick me up because I will not
Call the
get
fire
back up.
department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to when I was a kid, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I laid on the floor the other day with Cosette. Like I get on the floor now and I work out, but it's been a while since I laid on my back on the floor, and I was laying on my back playing with the dog. And then I thought I might be in trouble. Back straightened out
Yeah.
this way, my back got real
Mhm.
tight, and I'm like, oh, and I was just thinking to myself, all right, I clearly have to do this a lot more because I'm
Yeah.
laying on my back. I'm like, I gotta lay on my back on hard surfaces more because something got a little tweaked. That thought I was playing a game trying to get off the floor because I was moving so slow.
It's definitely on our bucket list to do that. I would love to be able to go camping and sleep on the ground and, do all that kind of stuff, which right now
Yeah,
there's no way. Yeah.
for
Feel
sure.
sorry for my husband. He'd have to try and yank me off the floor. Did you buy
Um,
eggs by the pallet?
I should have. You know what was funny is I figured it out at one time. I'd have to do it again, but I'd ate like thousands of eggs through that little experiment. Let's see, what was that? 36 times 90. Yeah, I'd eaten 3,240 eggs, and I was actually more than that because, well, sort of, because I was eating either 36 full eggs or I was eating 45 just yolks, because it was kind of the same difference, and I got really tired of the egg whites. But yeah, it was stupid. I was ordering them at Costco, plus I bought 20 chickens so that I could. I mistakenly only bought 20 chickens. I thought that might be enough, but that was before I knew how crazy I was going to go with the eggs. So I was getting some from my chickens, and I was still buying about 24 to 30 dozen a week. And it was hilarious when because I'd always do it through Instacart at Costco. And then I would always get a message from my shopper being like, is this a typo? That was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
I just get mine from the local farm and they deliver 20 cartons of eggs
That's
once every
awesome.
other week because my husband goes through more eggs than I do. He loves them. He has
Yeah.
about 9 a day. Yeah. Hi, Phyllis. I have lymphedema and on Weight Watchers. No matter how careful I was, I still had fluid in my legs. With Carnivore, I have no fluid.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly.
Incredible.
Do you
Congratulations
find
on that.
different foods trigger it as well? Be interested to know if you're on dairy. I find
Yeah.
dairy inflames
Very.
me.
Cheese is the devil. I love it.
It's good, but it's not good for us.
No. Hi, Stephanie. What are some ideas for hanging on to hydration? Start a Carnivore to figure out sensitivities. Too much electrolytes, I can tell, but still feeling dehydrated with headaches.
I need some salt.
Yeah.
Here's the craziest thing, right? So salt and electrolytes for hanging on to it for sure. But something interesting I've started to notice, and people talk about this. They're like, you if you drink too much water, you're going to wash out your electrolytes, And if you're thirsty all the time, well, what I have recently found out was a lot of, because I used to struggle with really bad thirst, like trying to drink 2+ gallons of water a day, not trying not to, but it was hard. My body wanted it, and I couldn't figure out what's going on there. Since I've upped the fat, my thirst has gone, been more than cutting probably a third to sometimes even a quarter since I upped the fat. And what I realized, because I was listening to this guy and he goes, no, when I get really dehydrated, I was talking to him and he said, I have to go eat a really fatty meal. He goes, when I get really dehydrated working out or out in the heat, he said, I actually have to eat something because you'll want to down a bunch of fluid, but that'll start running through you and you can actually wash it out. He said, it's actually more important to eat a really fatty meal. And I found that very interesting, but it seems to be proving true to me because the more fat I eat, the less I drink and the more, just the more hydrated I seem to be, the less likely I am to have calf cramps and stuff. And so that's what I would say about that. I think definitely up your fat. If you're up, if you're not already taking electrolytes, try electrolytes and salt and everything. But also, if you're still having problems with it, try upping your fat 2-to-1 ratio, which is like a 80-20 on calorie ratio, and definitely give that a try. What do you think, Lindy?
Oh, I've never been a drinker. Like, this is my bottle that I got yesterday morning, and it's been 24 hours, and that's all I've had to drink. So I just don't drink. No, I never. But even before Carnivore, I never drank. I'd go all day and not drink anything, and yeah. So I can't really help with that one. Do they sell trampolines, minis for heavy people? Yes, I think this is what, 600 or 700 pound capacity, the Jump Sport. That's why I got this one, because I wanted something that was heavy duty, because I still do have a lot of weight and a lot of loose skin. And it does have different settings on it, so you can make the bands a bit tighter as well. So very sturdy. But yeah, I do recommend this one. I did research for about a month. And this one comes fully assembled. You just screw the legs on and it's done. Others, you have to assemble. It's, a lot more difficult to stretch those bungee cords, and it just looked too hard for me, so I stayed away from those ones. A little bit more expensive, but I know it's going to last. So
what number you got? Jump Sport? Which
390, I think it was 390 Pro.
390 Pro. I just want to see what the weight capacity is on it.
Yeah, they do have a collapsible version as well, so you can fold it in half and throw it under the bed or take it traveling, but mine doesn't. I won't be taking it anyway.
Did any of you go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to read this. Did any of you know do the 3-day sardine plan? It was big last summer in the States. Was supposed to set you up for starting a fast.
I did 1 day, and that was enough sardines for me. I think I only had the two tins in the day, but I'm not a big fan of sardines, and I just thought, I don't think I could do this another 2 days. But that's the thing, there's so many fads that come out, and it's just like, you want to do it because you're desperate to lose weight, but all it did was just throw me off my track, and it's just changing things too many times. It did my head in. Yeah. I just listen to my body now. I don't worry about the fads and the too much fat, not enough fat, too high protein. I just do my thing. If I feel like steak, I eat steak. If I feel like butter, I'll add butter. Some days I don't feel like butter. And I just go by how my body feels, and I find I'm getting better results now, and I'm not as stressed anymore. Because I was always wanted to know, how much protein should I have? How much fat? I wanted everything to the gram, and I've been measuring things. And I've thrown all that out the window, and now I'm much more relaxed and things are happening. So,
yeah, I never tried it, but I did for a long time until I started doing the lion diet. I did eat a can of cod livers. Yeah, every day. So, and I do believe in the omega-3s and the cod livers. I think it's one of the best sources of it, and I think it does set you up for that for sure. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons I got to thinking about it, being when I stopped getting the eggs and the cod livers online. I think that's why my fat really went downhill. Yeah.
I still have yet to try cod liver. I got to get some and try it.
They're good.
yeah, can we try some in Texas?
Yeah, I'll
bring
bring some.
a tin. Yeah, bring a tin for me.
Sure,
I'll give
I
it a
will.
go. I haven't actually seen them here, but
Sounds like a good challenge video. The Aussie tries cod livers. Cod livers and Rocky Mountain oysters.
sounds good.
There we go.
Same for me, Lindy. I eat when I need to and just naturally fast when I'm not hungry. Sometimes I won't feel like eating for a few days, and I just make sure to drink plenty of water and bone broth. Yeah, just I think that's really important. And you don't stress then if you just go by how you're feeling. You naturally want to fast or you eat. It's like keep it simple. Great job, Jenny. 11 months, nothing sweet, unbelievable, but true. Yay,
Good job,
Keith.
Keith. Good job.
Exactly, Keith.
Yeah.
That's freedom. That's freedom.
That is freedom. Yeah.
Are any of you supplementing with iodine?
I take it.
I take it. I've actually ordered some of that. What is it? Oodles or whatever?
Lugos.
Yeah. Lugos. What I use.
Oodles.
Oodles.
Well, isn't there something called Oodles oil? I think there's
I
a
don't know.
Might be.
something like that.
know.
But yeah, I ordered one on Amazon. But up until then, I was taking sea kelp for the iodine. Was my source of iodine. So, and it definitely helped improve my mood and my mental energy for sure.
Here's what you do: take it by the eyedropper and put it on your hand, and put a square on your hand, like 2 inches by 2 inches, and let it dry and see how long it takes to disappear. And if it's not gone in a few hours, that means you've got enough iodine in your body. If it disappears right away, it means that your body needs iodine. That's how I take it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I do have some. I just every now and then I remember and I just pop a squirt on my steak.
I put it on my hand and I rub it across my hands, and I got an iodine spot on both my hands, and then I can watch how fast it disappears.
Okay. How do you know when you are fat adapted?
Well, I mean, for me, it's obvious because I get energy every time I eat a carnivore fatty meal. Like I immediately get energy from it. I remember not being fat adapted, which is not great because it takes longer. That was when I started implementing having vinegar with my fat because it helps emulsify the fat, helps turn dietary fat into fuel quicker. I started craving vinegar. I still do that to this day just because now when I have it, I feel like I had a Red Bull or something because the fat turns to energy so quick that I quite enjoy it. But, basically, if you get energy, if you eat just protein and fat and you eat less than, I don't know, let's say on average, less than 50 grams of protein in a meal, and you get a good ounce of energy out of it, you're pretty fat adapted. But at the same token, if you are continue to breathe and move and function on like a fast or something, you're somewhat fat adapted because you're like everybody's somewhat fat adapted, but it can definitely get better. And so for me, it was watching how efficient I would get energy and for how long I would sustain that energy after eating a fatty meal. Is how I knew. How about you guys?
I don't really know what it means. I'm sorry, but I just eat. It took me 6 months to actually not be on the toilet after eating because I don't have a gallbladder. And I did used to have a lot of diarrhea after my food.
Well,
But
and
now that's all gone. So is that fat adapted?
well, yeah, I was going to say that's
Yeah.
actually a very good point too. If you have diarrhea every time you eat fat, you're not fat adapted because you're
Right.
dumping.
It's going right through you. I don't have that
Yeah.
problem.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, once
I
you
guess
start,
that's just one of the things that have not having a gallbladder that was taken out when I was 21. Yeah. Quite a few years ago.
for sure.
But yeah, 6 months and I'm fine now. Occasionally I might have a bit of a bout of it here and there, but usually pretty good. Hi JMB. I haven't eaten red meat for years. So last summer I started keto with red meat, thinking I would then work up to carnivore, but I couldn't stand the taste of beef. I will be trying again. Yeah, I tried lamb's a different one. Lamb's pretty nice too.
Lamb is good, yes.
Something different.
Lamb's good, bacon and eggs. You can have all those things to start. But here's what I'll say about taste buds.
They change.
They change, and they change pretty rapidly, and they change based off of what your body relates to things that you're eating to what benefit it's getting out of it. So I used to think, it's kind of silly, but we think that that we have taste buds and they are set to like this solid, static setting, and it's kind of silly because taste buds are just a relationship that with your food to your brain about something it wants. And the thing was, we used to all set them, or likely all of us, definitely us here, set them to sugar. So that's why we couldn't trust ourselves anymore because our taste buds were basically didn't have our best interest in mind anymore. It just wanted a dopamine fix from that sugar, And so you got to get free from that. And then you have to kind of retrain it and you got to give it the things for a while. Well, here's a perfect example. For the first 5.5 weeks when I was doing starting carnivore, I had to make a deal with myself. I used to call it my, emergency protocol was I would wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, the cortisol, the anxiety would hit in the morning, and I would be like, I can't do this again. I can't. This is all a lie. It's not going to work. There's no use. I mean, all these doubts and stupid things would start coming in, and so I used to fall victim to that. But I had to make a deal with myself that before I could cheat or fall off the wagon and go get a pizza or something, I had to at least eat bacon and eggs until I was stuffed, and then wait 1 hour, and then even though I didn't want that, I wasn't looking for bacon and eggs and I didn't think it tasted good and I didn't want it and it wasn't a pleasant thing. But I did it with excitement because as soon as I got all this stupid bacon and eggs down and I waited an hour, I could get as much pizza as I wanted, right? So, and then every time what would happen is I would get stuffed, I get satiated with fat and protein, and that would bring my cortisol down and I'd finally come to my senses. And then I would go, okay, now the hard part was over. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because something very interesting happened. I was doing this to hit the stretch markers on my stomach to make the panic and the cravings and the anxiety go away. But on the side note, what happened was I became very, very satiated and hungry for bacon and eggs. I built a new taste bud to really crave bacon and eggs until one day I woke up. I was having the anxiety and my brain went, "You need bacon and eggs." And I went, "Wait, what?" Waiting for it to tell me I needed a pizza with a Cold Stone hot fudge sundae or something and some Coca-Cola. And instead my brain goes, "Go get bacon and eggs." And I'm like, "Okay, I will." And so whatever that link between taste buds, habits, the process of dealing with the stress and the anxiety, whatever that was, I did rebuild it into bacon and eggs. And that stuck to this day. I still like those things. So don't think that you just have this static set of taste buds and you're always going to hate something. Now, I can't say that everything changes because to this day I still hate liver. I don't know what it is. I suppose everybody has something like that, but I also think that a lot of things change, like how I crave vinegar now. How silly is that? I never craved vinegar a day in my life, and now I can't help drink the stuff straight, you know? So,
Yeah. And different cuts of meat taste differently as well, which I found because with the porterhouse, I just can't stomach it anymore. But now I love the Scotch fillet. And ground beef has a different flavour. And then the different ways that you can cook. Have you tried roasting it or popping it in a slow cooker and cooking it so it's nice and pull apart and you've got a lot of soup to go with it? So different, meal preparations as well can help. And if you're doing keto to start off with, maybe having some spices in there as well, just to help you get through it. You can always cut that back later, but we just want to get the meat into you now and just try and make sure there's no sugars and things in the sauces and spices. But you can always cut those back later if you need to. Hi,
Russ says I have so much ice and cream in my coffee. I don't think it possibly hurt me. Cream hurts me just because I'm not a 400-pound calf.
Right.
But lymphedema for me, I have cream and my swelling just my legs. So yeah, if it works for you, great.
Shout out to Homesick Buckeye. You guys go check out his channel if you guys are haven't subscribed to him or yet. He's got an awesome channel, man. He's a good dude. All right, let's see. Had to
I
drop
had to.
coffee a few years ago. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You go. You can go. You're right.
I dropped coffee a few years ago because I have 3 tablespoons of sugar with it at 8 to 10 cups a day.
Out of sugar.
Wasn't going to work out well for
Yeah.
me for sure, man. It's funny how some of those things are catalysts for those cravings, right? The weirdest things, that like you can't just separate the two. So it's best. I think that's definitely that talk about, moderators versus abstainers. Certain things that we're so addicted to, having them a certain way, definitely have to just abstain.
I drink my coffee black.
Hi, Sarah. Anyone ever had goose meat? I understand it's like red meat. I wonder if it's much healthier since they eat more grass than chickens and ducks. I've never had goose meat.
I never have either.
You will
Interesting.
now, right, Todd?
Thinking about it.
We've got a little pond at the end of our street, and there's about 6 wild geese that sort of hang around there. And they've actually got a goose crossing. So when they cross the road, you have to stop the car and let them go across. They're so cute.
Lindy, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to message Scott for you right now, your husband, and tell him to go run down there. And you can have one for dinner tonight.
No.
Let us know how it is.
Funny story about that, actually. I was working in a town over as an electrician. I was wiring this cabin. And this guy, it was like one of those cabin kits things. And I was not happy to be working on this house because this guy was like a do-it-yourselfer and he was wasting our time pretty bad because he would only build a little part of it. And then he'd want us to come in and wire this little part. And he was staying in the cabin that we were working on because he'd moved up here for out of state. And it was kind of a nightmare job because I kept getting called over there. Normally we like to just wire a house and wire it for 3 days, 2 days and rough it in, get out, come back and trim it out. Well, I'd been to this guy's house and he would literally build the wall. And so it was rough. But anyhow, him and his kid were staying there. And this is, you have to forgive my candor, but I was not in a good mood and I was on the standard American diet back then. So I didn't have good stress coping skills. And they live next to a pond full of geese everywhere. And these were big wild geese and they were territorial. Mean little shits. Yeah, there's one of them. And every time I'd walk out to my truck, this thing would just peck and flock the crap out of me, just beat the crap out of me. And I was getting tired of it and I'd push him off and I'd slap him. I thicked him on the beak a couple of times and was flinging him out of there. And, I was working in the house and I had to go get some a fish pole out of my truck. And the dad had gone to pick up his kid from school. He goes, I'll be back in a little bit. And I was working. It was almost the end of the day. I was about to get out of there. And I had one last wire I had to fish in his log cabin. So you had to drill these wires up through these logs from down below. And you had to use these fiberglass fish poles. And my pole wasn't long enough. So I had to go get another fish pole. So I went out to my truck. And while I was in my truck, this dang thing snuck up on me and it goosed me right in the butt. And it hurt real bad. He got all the flesh on that little pinch. And just out of a natural reaction, I flung my hand around like this and I ended up catching him on the neck, just like this. And I went fink like that. It was just like a natural little thing that I did. Yeah, I broke the little dude's neck. And I was holding him by his head and he was flopping. And just then I heard crying and I looked over and that customer with his son. And his son saw me break his neck in front of him. And I was sitting there holding him while his little wings were flopping. And I dropped him. And he was flopping on the ground. And that kid started crying and took off and ran in the house. And the dad was like, what was it? And he had to go chase after his boy. And I felt pretty bad. And I had to go in there. And I was like, that goose literally goosed me.
Wow.
Kind of snapped and I wasn't trying to hurt him. I just grabbed him and I went to kind of fling him, but I just caught him just perfectly. And when I was flinging him, I was like, oh no, that was
Dear.
so terrible. That kid was crying and I was, It was a bad day. The
Yeah.
goose bad day. But
We sometimes go out for dinner or for lunch, my husband and I. They've got like a carnivore platter. So we have that, but they always give us flatbread. So I always pop it in a container and we'll drive over to the pond on our way back and I feed the geese. But there's one of them that hisses at us, like he's really nasty. So I don't get out of the car. I just sit in the car. We open the window and I just fling and feed all the ducks and the geese. And they come right up to the window. And some will actually let me hand feed them out of my car window, but this other one will come and bite them on the butt. Like he's nasty and he hisses. So I have to throw bread right on the other side. So he'll go and get that one, and then I can hand feed the other ones. But there are a few nasty geese, but yeah, wouldn't want to wish that on any of them. Keep away from Todd.
just don't goose Todd in the posterior while he's working.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I add 2 egg yolks, butter or ghee, and collagen powder into my coffee. So that's a carnivore latte or something. Isn't that what they call it? Yeah, here it's really nice. See, I wouldn't have it because I would want it every day. That will become a new addiction for me. So, but yeah, good job. Have any of you all tried Flying Dutchman's from In and Out? Is that like a restaurant or something? Or?
Yeah, it's a famous burger chain, but he said I recently discovered the grilled onion wrap for it. They thinly slice the grilled onion and use it as a bun, and it's beyond delicious for me. Yeah, I've seen those. So I tried the lettuce wrap one, but the only In and Out that's close to us is all the way in. It's about a 7-hour drive. But when I was in Salt Lake, Utah, once that day I tried an In and Out and I had one, and I would probably be partaking in those more often if I lived with some place that there is an In and Out for sure. How about you, Mike?
I've never had them. Never had them.
I bet those are good though.
I think this sardine challenge is just a low calorie thing because people don't like and don't eat much. They'd rather starve than eat sardines. I kind of agree.
Right? That makes a little bit of sense for sure.
I can see adding them to being carnivore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And omega and all that.
Yeah, Keith's agreeing with us. Yeah, my old taste buds were carbs and sugars only. Exactly. You got to get your taste buds like off the sauce wagon. You gotta get them cleaned up from their drug addiction before you can start trusting them again. It's kind of funny.
The Sandra's about a year. I've had so many wins already and have chronic pain care plan assessment in 3 days. Looking forward to more good news. Oh, that's fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, keep us in the loop.
That is awesome.
Yeah. The fatty latte. Yeah.
Now she's talking about how geese.
How roast it like turkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I wish I would have known what to do with the one that I accidentally ended his little vacation. Nice fat to protein ratio. I bet that would be tasty. I'll have to try it sometime. I never thought about eating one. I think so. I mean, yeah. Is carnivore affordable on a fixed income? I think so. Because
you're not buying all the other stuff.
Yeah, you're not buying all the
buns, your bread,
sauces, seasonings,
right?
Salads,
chips, ice cream. It all adds up. Pop,
sodas, all that stuff. Your coffees. Like, I mean, literally all that I've eaten for 14 months now is like salt, water, beef, bacon, eggs, lamb, Tabasco, pickled jalapenos, and salt. That's pretty much been it. And now for the last 71 days online, it's just been beef, Tabasco, and salt and water. So, and no drinks, no coffee. I mean, I used to spend a small fortune on drinks and snacks and things. So I think so. I think it definitely is.
At the start, you may eat a little bit more because you're nourishing your body and getting your body sort of, into that carnivore kind of mode. But once you get in there and you go over that hurdle, you start to automatically intermittent fast, and then you're not eating as much. So initially, like if you're doing the priming protocol, it may cost a little bit just to get started. And once your body's nourished, the bill will go down. But I bought myself a new car, a brand new car, with all the money that I've saved. Not buying crap and no medical expenses, less garbage, We've saved so much money in so many areas.
Just think of all the money you save on toilet paper.
Right?
Ah,
That's
yeah,
true too.
yeah.
Well, not only that, but toilet paper, Tums, Pepto-Bismol,
Yes, and all that.
aspirin,
Yep.
sinus medicine, the cold medicine, NyQuil, cough drops. I just think about all the stuff that I don't buy anymore. That was just it was normal to have like Vicks Vapor Rub and throat spray and sinus stuff and antihistamines and different pain medicines and different Tums and all these antacids and diarrhea medicine and constipation medicine. Like it was just a whole thing to have a medicine cabinet full of all of this stuff. Not to mention, I know that you're on a fixed income, you're retired, but
Prescriptions. Look at the difference in prescriptions. Yes.
yeah, all those and things like sick days for me, taking days off work where I'm not making any income because I'm sick, or whatever. Like, yeah, and then also my appetite. You get satiated, right, when you eat these things, so your appetite goes down. And I didn't have appetite control before, and you can still cost yourself a bunch of money if you got a big appetite and you're eating a bunch of junk, especially if you're like me and having it delivered. That was a nightmare.
Look at the money you save there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have
Tips.
2 deliveries every other week, one for eggs and one for beef. That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, sometimes 1 or 2 Uber Eats and Menulog, 2 deliveries a day.
Exactly.
1 delivery, it's,
Yep. I've heard Culver's is pretty awesome, Cranky.
Culver's is good, yeah. They cook it
Yeah.
in butter burgers.
I've heard they're pretty amazing. Do you have a Culver's, Lindy?
No, not heard of that one either. Got McDonald's, Hungry Jack's. No, I try not to do any. I don't like any of that.
Now Janet's talking my language.
Yes.
Have any of you done sous vide?
Yes.
I did a tri-tip sous vide for the first time, and it was amazing.
I have a sirloin tip roast cooking right now. It's been 24 hours and it's going to go another 24. Can't wait.
Exactly. I've got a 20-pound brisket sous vide right now at
mine's not that big.
133 degrees for 74 hours.
You're cooking at 133?
Yep.
I'm going 129.3.
There you go. That'll be a little probably.
I figured it's only like 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds. What I figured I was going to do, I was going to take it out, let it cool down, and then throw it in the Ninja.
Yeah, sear it or air fry it. Yep, that'll be just fine.
That's why I went a little lower on the temp.
Yep, you'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. I'd give it, if it's 4 pounds, I would give it like probably 12 to 15 minutes in the air fryer. Yeah,
looking forward to that. It looks good.
Yeah, probably 13 to 14 minutes would be right.
I was just going to put the probe in there and let it just go until
let it do its thing. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Janet, sous vide is awesome.
Yeah, they are. I love it.
Cost is an issue for me, hoping OMAD will balance the budget. I hope so too, but look into eggs and ground beef because you don't want to get undernourished. Like you still have to get your, OMAD's one thing, but you need to get your protein in. You need to get about an ounce of protein per pound of lean body mass so if you're overweight, you have to you can do the TDEE calculator, put your height and weight and your sex in there, and it'll tell you roughly what your ideal body weight and what your ideal lean body mass is. You're a carnivore, so it's going to be a little bit heavier. So figure, 5% to 10% heavier than what your TDEE lean body mass is. And then you can eat 1 pound of protein, eat 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass, and then eat 2 grams of fat if you can. So I get tallow for per gram of protein, and you'll be pretty spot on. Seems to be a very niche, and you can eat less or more fat and start and see what you feel. But that's kind of where a lot of people, that's that 80-20 fat to protein by calorie percentage that everybody talks about. And I find that it's helpful for me. And so is Michael finding that right now too.
It's an investment in your health as well. So, if you can put that little bit of effort in now with the financial, it will repay you later with all the stuff that you don't need anymore.
Absolutely. Sandra, geese makes really good security guards.
They do. Unless Todd's the burglar.
Say, that didn't end well for my attack use. You're south real fast.
Yeah, 6 patties of 2 slices of cheddar is less than my wife's fish dinner, and it's especially great if her mum is buying.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, other people's beer was always the best beer back in the day. It's the freebies. I can see how that would translate to burgers for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they can post channels in the chat. I think there's
no, but if they do, just say yeah, I have a channel, and then I'll pull them up and I'll post them.
Yeah,
for sure. Flag, yeah, because Carnivore Scott's got a YouTube channel. And for anybody that's got a YouTube channel or wants a shout out, there's a filter on YouTube where you won't let you put in web.
Just let me know. Just let me know, and I'll post it. I'm posting Scott's now.
Absolutely. That's awesome. There you go. That sounds delicious. Cranky, are you in Barry's PhD? I feel like I saw you in there, but I couldn't tell. I was gonna ask you about this crazy lady talking about freaking shop pay and what a conspiracy theory it was when she was buying her beef jerky or something. Took up the whole conversation, and I finally tapped out. But I'm pretty sure I saw you in there. And PhD, let me know if that was you, because I'm new to. I've only been in Baker's or in Barry's group about a month now.
Hi, Wendy. I'm 66 and 120 pounds overweight, and my knees have been so bad for years. Using Morca and cane now. Yeah,
Carnivore will help.
absolutely.
It's going to help huge. I had knee surgery on my right knee. These are all the things when we have these conversations. This is why I love this community and staying tucked into it. You forget all the things that stopped hurting. Like and I was sitting here. I mean, I had what do you call it? Orthoscopic knee surgery on my right knee like 15 years ago. And it had been stiff and sore ever since that day. And I just was noticing the other day, I haven't felt that knee in forever. It seems like forever. It's just crazy.
Hi, Minua. I have pulmonary hypertension. I'm on oxygen 24/7. I'm 316 pounds. I need to lose weight.
Well, guess what? You're in the right spot because I was 715 pounds. I had congestive heart failure. I was on oxygen 24/7. Since I was 18 years old, my oxygen saturation was 88%. I was diagnosed when I was 18 with reactive airway disease. And my oxygen numbers were abysmal my whole life. I've struggled with lung problems my whole life. They checked my heart. They've done all that stuff. And when I started doing carnivore, it only took about 6 months for me to get off the oxygen. I was doing Wim Hof breathing, box breathing, and I kind of weaned myself off the oxygen because when you stay on oxygen all day long, your body starts depending on it. So I would take an hour where I would just sit there and do Wim Hof breathing and breathe on my own, and then I'd put it back in. So I kind of had to wean off of it, but I did. And as I sit here today, 14 months later, I have no congestive heart failure that I can tell. I'm going in for actual the ultrasonic scan this summer to prove that it's gone, but I don't have any of the symptoms of it anymore. And I'm completely off oxygen. And for the first time in my life, my oxygen as I'm sitting here is 96% saturation. And my hypertension, my resting heart rate went from 107 beats a minute down to 68 beats a minute now is my resting heart rate. So I mean, absolutely that can heal. Absolutely.
Fantastic. I made a sirloin tip breast today as well, but I roasted in the oven. Nice.
I love those. Yeah, you gotta love tri-tips. Those things are delicious.
Yeah. One pound of ground beef is $4. 1 pound of cereal is $4.
Exactly.
And chips is $4. Which one would you rather have? Which one do you think is going to be better for you? Cereal that's loaded with sugar, chips that are loaded with salt, or the ground beef. Yeah,
and also, and also, I remember when I would eat back in the day, the SAD diet. I'd sit down and I would eat a freaking whole loaf of bread and a thing of peanut butter and jelly. Like I'd eat the whole thing. I'd have a whole bag of Doritos, right? I'd eat a bag of Doritos and a 12-pack of soda as a snack. I mean, all these things would come on if I had them in the house. I didn't even like snacking because it was too expensive to have snacks because I had no off switch, like Lindy says. There wasn't like I was eating it until it was gone every time.
So I don't know how many times I would have a bowl of cereal, and before you know it, the whole box was gone. And then don't forget, you buy the cereal for $4, and $4 I think is kind of cheap for cereal nowadays. You also got to have milk with it, so right. there's another $3 added on, so you're up to $7 now.
Right, and when I was a kid, we would have it with milk and sugar. We'd add sugar to it. We'd have the cereal, and then we'd have it with toast and cinnamon and sugar on it most of the time.
And you're hungry again in an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you eat the ground beef, and you won't probably eat again until the next day. But you can eat the box of cereal and the chips, and you'll still be hungry. Yes. And there's $8 already.
And you're feeding those cravings, and it's a never-ending cycle.
I had 400 grams of ground beef 5 hours ago with 120 grams of beef tallow added to it. So I have to do grams because I'm just going to give you an actual what it costs because I don't know. I have to do grams to ounces. I think there's what is it? 13 grams in an ounce?
16 or grams?
Yeah, how many grams an ounce? I think it's 13 point something. I don't remember now.
Uh, 1 gram is 0.3 ounce.
No.
0.03. 0.03. 0.035 is 1 ounce. Is 1 gram.
So you're gonna make me do that math?
So how many grams are you talking about?
Just ask it. How many grams is in an ounce?
Is 0.035 is
no. How many grams is in 1 ounce? 1 ounce. There's like 13.
28 ounce,
okay.
28 grams, 28.3 grams.
Okay. Okay. So 28 divided by 28.
1 ounce.
So to give you that, I ate 14.3 ounces of beef today. So 14.3 ounces of beef.
396 grams. It's just shy of 400.
Yeah. And let's see, I did 120 divided by 28. So I had about 4 ounces of tallow, which is about $2. And I had about just under a pound of beef that was $4.50. So I spent $6.50 today. And I did add some Tabasco to it. So let's say I spent $7 today. That was my food today. I'm not hungry at all. I'm completely satiated.
It's cheap. It would cost you more to go to McDonald's. How much do we spend on fast food at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Or Subway or whatever.
Now I'm going to say this. I have eaten 6 ribeyes. I was priming and going crazy. But you don't have to do that, right? That was you. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. You can have some ground beef. You can throw some egg yolks in there, some eggs. You can do chuck roast. You can do brisket. Brisket's like $3.89 a pound right now at Costco. You can cook up big briskets, and if you do things like everybody's talking and you sous vide them, slow cook them for really long times, they come out like some of the best tasting.
Steaks you ever had. Yeah.
Exactly, because some of the most tender steaks, like a tenderloin, is also some of the most bland beef that's there. It's great because it's tender and it's juicy, but there's a real trade-off because it doesn't have the flavor. But chuck roast has great flavor. Brisket has great flavor. It's just tough. But you cook it slow and low, low and slow for a long time, or you sous vide it. Man, is it amazing! It's
I
super.
have a brisket in the slow cooker right now, so that'll be ready after the stream. It's 1 p.m. now, and I haven't eaten anything, but I make
Yeah,
it really soupy. So I like to drink the soup in a mug and then just have all the meat on the side. It's really nice.
that's awesome. How do
My
you?
biggest
How do you
bad.
I was gonna say, how do you pronounce that name?
Meanwhile,
Yep, my biggest bad habit is drinking soda.
I'm going to post a link in chat to Todd's community page. And if you search down at the bottom, you will see his. I can't link the post directly, but he has his how he got off soda. I
Yeah,
highly
'cause
recommend that you use it.
soda was definitely my biggest addiction. And I mean, like I said, I got over gambling addiction and nicotine addiction and sugar addiction, and caffeine addiction, was way worse. The caffeine and sugar with the soda. It's the worst addiction I ever had. That was a bugger. And yeah, the link Michael's put into the community page. If you go down there, you'll see a lemonade drink that I used to wean myself off soda. I've since used it. My mom used it. My sister used it. And we all found freedom between this and Carnivore to get off of soda. So I definitely recommend you trying it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Keith knew what was going on.
Sparkling water helped me through Christmas and New Year's not to drink alcohol. I considered myself a binge alcoholic. Yeah.
Good job, Keith.
Yes.
Keith, that's
Fantastic.
amazing. But this is what we're talking about, Keith, right? Like we all have stories now where these compulsive and addictive natures that we used to have heal up, and when our body's healthy and our hormones are healthy, we don't have these addictions anymore. It gives you so much power back. It's just, I mean, it's not only healing the body, man, it heals the mind, and it when you're healthy, just everything else in your life changes. It's crazy.
The other thing, instead of buying pop, you might want to get yourself a soda stream.
Yeah.
And you're still getting the carbonation.
Yeah. 10 minutes without oxygen, my stats are in the low 60s.
Yeah. That's a rough one. But like try doing while the oxygen's on, try doing Wim Hof breathing. Taking in those big deep breaths, you won't be able to hold your breath hardly at all, but still just start opening up the diaphragm and then get that inflammation out, and let's see what happens to your lungs. Don't be in a hurry to get, don't rush the oxygen. You need it. Um, Also, do you have sleep apnea? Because that's another one too.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have sleep apnea, you want to make sure you're on a CPAP piping in the oxygen, and really, you don't want to stop breathing at night because that's going to make it really hard for your lungs to heal up.
I just posted the beginner's video for Wim Hof.
That's
Works
awesome.
great. You're not going to be able to do it completely, the whole thing, when you first start, but you build up and you will be surprised. You will be able to hold it for the whole time.
Right. And
Yeah.
right now with you at 60s, you won't be able to hold it for like I remember I couldn't me in the 80s, I couldn't hold it for 15 seconds because I just felt like I was dying. So I know where you're coming from. And I've been in the 60s before. But it was when I would quit breathing at night. That's why I was asking you about the sleep apnea, the CPAP, because I would quit at night and I'd wake up in the low 60s. One time when I got pneumonia and got put in the hospital, I was in the high 50s. It was terrible. So I know right where you're coming from, but I do believe if we heal, if you heal up the inflammation and you get the inflammation and the fluid out and you start slowly building, that stuff does heal up. And you stand a really, I mean, I know it's going to improve no matter what.
Todd is a real Benjamin Button. Well, everyone
Yes.
on Carnivore is actually.
His
Yeah.
hair's
Absolutely.
coming back. He's getting eyebrows. He's
And Baker called me a kid on somebody's podcast, Lindy said.
He also called you simple too. So.
He does. So I'm a window licking kid, but I'm a kid. What is tallow? Tallow is basically rendered beef fat that is rendered out, strained, filtered out clean, and then sold in jars. But it's basically beef fat, lots of it.
Cereal for dinner. Not in this house.
Not no more.
No.
Don't act like you never done it.
Oh, my mum used to eat like porridge. That was her go-to. Every time, every meal porridge. But yeah. Hey, Lindy, Todd, and Michael, and community. I've been busy but listening for a while. Just wanted to say hello. Hi, Susan.
Hey, Susan. Speaking of YouTubers, here's one right now, Brett.
Who's
Yeah.
Coke Zero.
He had a bad Coke Zero addiction too, right,
Yeah.
Brett? Those things are like terrible. I mean, they are a real, true bloom, full bore addiction for sure.
Good job on stopping that. Soda was tough one to be sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Carnivore Scott, exactly. Yep, Carnivore Scott's got a YouTube channel too.
Yeah, I posted all their channels.
Oh, awesome.
I used to be addicted to diet soda too, but now I'm struggling with cigarette addiction.
Hey, Jenny, I got to tell you, I cannot recommend this more. I had a 26-year tobacco addiction. I chewed Copenhagen Long Cut. 26 years. I had such an addiction to it. I had to sleep with Copenhagen in my mouth to sleep at night. And I quit last October 26th after priming. But I had to prime and heal my body. And once things healed up, man, it just I didn't even plan on quitting. I just didn't need it anymore. I didn't want it anymore. So definitely prime up. That's something you can't be calorie restricting when you do it. You have to be eating your way through that thing, but you can absolutely get rid of that for sure.
I'm lucky alcohol, chips, and soda never. Rarely fast food. It's emotional eating for me. Yeah. It's a big thing. So emotional eating for a lot of people.
Absolutely is.
I'm so glad I purchased a whole cow, processed half bone in, half boneless. I average out to be $9 a pound.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Good deal.
Yeah, enjoy that. Oh, did I catch up on the chats?
You are.
Wow. How did that happen?
You've just been crazy. You haven't been really talking a lot tonight, which I'm thankful for.
Well, listen, snarky pants. Well, since Lindy's a superstar because she went and got on Barry's radar, it blew up in here, and I was nervous we weren't going to be able to keep up. So I was plowing through them, and here I go. We catch up to everybody. That's awesome. But you know what? It is about that time where we open up the gates to the masses here and see who wants to come in and say hi. So we're going to post a link in the chat, and you guys can feel free to come on up and say hi for a little bit if you so choose. And yeah.
Well, we're going to do it a little differently this time. Let's do it one at a time so we can get to know the person that's come up, and everybody else has just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, Michael has spoken because he's a giant curmudgeon. He doesn't like the party.
Oh, I want to get to know the person that's come up to share their story a little bit.
It makes sense. All right, one at a time. But yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
Yeah, I'd love to hear any issues with trolls and how you get past it, and that'd be awesome.
And if you're camera shy, you don't need to turn your camera on. We just want to hear your voice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have a friend who can't kick the Cola Zero. He does good on Carnivore during the week, but seems to fall off on the weekends. He can't seem to stay. Yeah, well, these things are absolutely going to be a thing because until you get that sweet taste out of your mouth, until you really get those things under control, you've really got to kick them. And the only way to do that is you got to eat through them. You have to prime through them. You have to get the fat in. You have to satiate yourself through them. And then once you get free from them, then it'll start sticking, but I couldn't do it either. I couldn't find the food freedom when I was still doing the diet sodas. I could not do it.
Go to that community post on Todd's page and share that the image of the recipe for him,
For sure.
and it'll help him to kick
There we
that
go.
habit.
You got 2 hours now, Todd, to make up for lost time and get all political. I probably won't disappoint because, especially with our guest, Brett. Brett's on here. Brett.
Hey,
Brett.
how's everybody
Brett,
doing?
political. Look at that shirt. He brought a political shirt.
it's not political. It's just
That's an
our
awesome
country.
shirt. That's right. You should be proud of that flag.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, Brett? How's it going?
It's going good. I spent most of the day in the car driving back home from Wisconsin.
And I was watching it yesterday. I saw that you were up there. It's great.
Yeah, I was right there in the front row.
How was it? Was it? I wanted to come so bad, and I was like, oh, I can't do this and go to KetoCon. There's too much, but soon.
Yeah, it would have been a long drive from Montana over to Wisconsin.
It would have been a big one.
Yeah,
You drove right past me. You could have picked me up and took me up there.
I would have.
No,
too.
not you. Brett. Brett drove right. He's in Indianapolis. He drove right past me.
Oh, I
well, I
got
guess I did. I
There you
did. Alia Wells flew in from
Oh, did she?
Columbia, and she was staying with family, and I stopped and picked her up and took her to the event. So
That's awesome.
got to spend a couple hours in the car with Alia. That was pretty fun.
But
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, it looked like a really good time. Everybody was there. I saw Alia. I saw Adam, Carrie.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people there.
JT, Poker
JT.
Moonshine. Yeah.
he was.
And then some of us afterwards, we went over to Carrie's house, and I grilled steaks for everybody.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
How'd you do? What was did they give you a score?
He didn't have enough like charcoal or a big enough charcoal grill to do it the way I like, but he just got a new gas grill, so I used that, and I did okay. I didn't burn the steaks, and I didn't overcook them, and everybody was happy.
The real question is, did they all raise their hands when they were eating the steak?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
They
We had
gave
some
it-
Alden salt to put on them. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all his family was there, and all 4 of his daughters, and we actually the regenerative beef farm that's just down the street. He's done a couple videos with him. We all went and visited that guy for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
Before we went back to his house, so got to see that place. So really
That's
cool. Lots of fun.
That's awesome. It looked like it was packed. Did they fill the house?
Yeah, all the seats were sold, but I think there was maybe 20 people that maybe didn't come
Gotcha.
because there were some empty seats towards the back, but there were 150 people that signed up. Every seat was accounted for.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, it was. I thought it went great, and I loved. I think Hampton was excited or surprised by his welcoming.
yeah. We set that up ahead of time and coached the crowd where everybody would stand up and applaud when he got announced.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's a great guy, Dr. Hampton. He knows his stuff. I've met him in person at the Chicago meetup back in October, and I actually got to sit across the table from him when we went out to eat at that Brazilian steakhouse. And
Nice.
actually had a real nice conversation with him. He's just the nicest person you could imagine. So
That's awesome.
and he made a point of going around and talking to everyone. So
Wow.
everybody got a little bit of time with him.
I'm with him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He seems like a real good, genuine dude,
Yep.
His office is like 3 miles away from my place.
Ah.
Lucky.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I saw Carnivore. Scott just asked if I was going to Carnivore Kips
Yeah,
cookout in April, and yes, I will be at that one.
that's awesome.
My kids' spring break is that week from school, so we're going to go down to Florida, to Pensacola for the week, and then on our way back home, we're going to stop at Kips because it's like an hour from Pensacola.
Right.
So we're going to hit that on the way home and get full of brisket, and he's making briskets and sausage and chicken quarters. I think he's going to make a whole bunch of stuff. So I
Think
hope he
you're
has a good.
Scott's going to
turnout.
be there. Yeah, Scott's going to be there.
Yep, Scott's going to be
Hey.
there, and I think the Browns, the Hanging with the Browns, I think they're going to
Nice.
be there.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, really looking forward to that. I mean, looking forward to going to Florida and getting time on the beach because we're 1,000 miles from the nearest beach here in Indiana. Unless you go up to Lake Michigan or
Lake
something.
Michigan. Lake Michigan's pretty.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to drive by his house. Yeah, we're going to come right down 65. So,
There you go.
Carpool.
Honk the horn.
And wave.
yep. So,
Let's see
yeah, we're
here.
looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Pearl wants to know if you're a butcher.
No, this is my meat locker. This is my background. So,
Also known as your dream. That's fine.
yeah, just ribeye roasts as far as the eye can see.
That I'm pretty sure that's the stairway to heaven.
It's actually I took the photo off a website for a restaurant in New York, and this is
Wow.
like where they age all their beef in this famous restaurant in New York. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, that's where it's from. It wasn't
That's awesome.
copyrighted, so I borrowed it.
You
I
gotta
liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. I borrow a lot of things. We got a few questions. Has anyone ever had had to do cheap carnivore sausage? And I don't mess with the sausages unless they're local from a butcher, because they generally have undesirable things in it. So
Hi, Scotty.
Hey,
Howdy.
Scotty.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Wasn't sure that was all going to pop right in there. I wanted to give everybody a chance to talk with Brett before I sucked up all the oxygen in the air.
no worries.
It's all right. Michael's in charge of the button, so he
Yeah.
let you in.
He's making the rules tonight.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I figured since they were going to go to the hangout, the
Yeah, they should
meetup.
talk.
That's
So
all.
you're already changing your plan. See, this is why
Hey.
we can't have hard, fast rules.
When
This
we
is what I
start
say about this all the time.
before we go live on the show, we always ask ourselves, "What are we going to do tonight?" Well, we always say we wing it, right?
Yeah, we wing it, and this
We
is
wing
perfect.
every show.
This is what I think we should always do. I'm just saying, it's funny. See, we talk about this stuff, and this is a
Well-
little behind the scenes, and then Michael's always with the rules, and I'm like, the rules never
Oh,
work.
I
and then he
don't
made
have
a rule
rules.
tonight,
No, it's when it's when we have somebody that's never been on here before, and people don't know them, and they have a story to share. We like to have learn a little bit more about them.
I totally agree.
Because there's been times when other
I'm
people have
busting
come
your
up,
chops because it's
And-
funny.
we don't even get their name, and they leave. So
Hey, Russell, you're asking about doing a cheap carnivore, and I got to be honest with you. I'll eat some hot dogs. I'll eat a Johnsonville brat, and if it has 2 grams of carbs in it, sue me. It's better than eating a bag of chips you all were talking about, or
and cereal.
I love tortillas, and I love jalapenos, and I love cheese, and so I put them all together. Make a nice little snack. Well, I don't do the tortillas anymore. So if my sausage has a gram of carbs, I'm okay with it. Now, I'll rather eat ground beef or eat some other kind of meat, to be honest. But I'll eat the hot dog. Don't trust me. I'm a hot dog eating machine, just not the bun.
Yeah, and if you ever have to do, if somebody's wanting to do cheap carnivore and you're just getting started, I'd say go ahead and have the sausages and stuff. Just try to find the cleanest ones you can, and then as you progress through your carnivore journey, you'll find out what works best for you, and you can wean out that.
I even eat those little beanie weenies I had over Christmas. I was somewhere, so I took them and I just ran off to the side and I put them in a cup. I rinsed them off, so I didn't have that barbecue sauce on them. And I had the little bean. No, you know what I'm talking about, little smokies.
Yeah, the little weenies.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tear them up.
If you want good breakfast sausage, the breakfast sausage at Walmart has like 4 ingredients in it. So if you wanted to do that, it's like, it's really clean. You compare that to like the Bob Evans or Jimmy Dean or whatever, and they got a whole long laundry list of ingredients. And then you pick up the Walmart one, and it's really clean.
And it's Walmart's brand, huh?
Walmart's brand, yeah. The great value.
A lot of people don't do real good with pork.
So I've been putting a little bit when I make power bowls or ground beef, and it's just kind of getting a little boring for me. I'll put just a little bit of breakfast sausage in the ground beef, and it really gives it a flavor pop. It doesn't take much, but because a little bit of it goes a long way. But if you're getting bored with ground beef, that's a good.
I do the same thing with bacon. I love to just take up bacon, chop it up with just my knives, chop it up though like ground beef, and then mix it 50-50 with ground beef. And then I put pickled jalapenos in it because I'm a bad carnivore. But like pickled jalapenos, half bacon and half beef, and those make wonderful burgers.
Yeah, I do bacon, sausage, and ground beef. I call it the Power Bowl hat trick.
Yeah, delicious. That sounds really good.
Question for you guys: what do you all think about the Puritans out there? I got a little hater the other day. Just one little comment, no big deal, but it's like, you're not a carnivore if you eat egg whites. I was like, really? Seriously? Sit down, shut up, and color. But I'm thinking, the tolerance sometimes seems to be going out the window. I'm like, from what the comments we've had almost most of the evening here, they were thinking about, well, can you do a little of this and a little bit of that? You can do whatever you want. And whatever works for you, just realize, like Todd said, don't do it for 2 or 3 days. Don't beat yourself up. Remember your whys, and like you all were talking about getting up and down off the floor, you know what I mean? There's all sorts of things. But if it helps you, what is that old thing about what's the best exercise to do? The one you'll do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's like, here's what I think, and I said this early on that I was hesitant to call myself carnivore the carnivore part, for the same reason that I don't like the term religious. When people say, "Are you religious?" and I know what they mean, but they're putting me in a box, and I'm like, I don't like a lot of religion. I'm not a fan of religion, but I'm like, well, I'm Christian. But the quick answer is yes, because that's what they relate me with, and I think the same thing when I say carnivore. But to me, what this is a animal-based, low to zero carb, high protein, high fat elimination diet is what we're on. And what I used it for was to eliminate everything, and then I add things back in after they've been gone 90 days or more, and I'll add them back in and see how I do. And if they have a negative effect, I write them off my list forever. They're gone. And if they have a positive effect, and then I keep them. And so far, I've had some negative effects on some things like black pepper. Can't do black pepper. That's off my forever list. For whatever reason, it inflames me. It makes my lungs wheezy.
It's the skin. Yeah.
Yeah, the skin there, it's some of that oxalate stuff. I have a real problem with it. And, surprising things. And I would have never known that if I hadn't done the elimination diet. I would have never known these things that cause me problems. However, Tabasco sauce makes me digest fatty, animal fats much quicker. And I love the Tabasco sauce, And so I'm like, fine. Then Tabasco sauce is in. I love the vinegar that's in pickled jalapenos. and they don't give me any problem, and I eat more meat and I don't have any issues with them. So I kept those, but that's, exactly. It's not carnivore, but I'm like, that is pickled. So the idea is that when you have pickled vegetables, that it's supposed to have gotten rid of the oxalates. So there's not a huge downside to them from what I hear. I don't know.
Well,
But I don't know.
wouldn't the vinegar also be helpful? Don't they use, and Brett, maybe you can talk to this. I know you might be able to, Todd, but they use vinegar-based marinades to help break down the meat. I mean, the vinegar is going to help in your gastric processes. So what if we were to kick around and try to brainstorm? Isn't this really a story when we say carnivore? It's a story about taking control of what we eat and not being told what to eat by who to eat and when to eat and how to eat, but we're taking control based on our best proper human diet. But even that so doesn't have a connotation or doesn't really denote I'm in control now. Once you do this long enough, you can walk away from a donut, you can walk away from tobacco, you can walk away from soda, and I think that's what this is really about. It's just a vehicle or an avenue that helps us to gain control and personal responsibility, and it trains us that we can do things we had surrendered to other things, like whether it's alcohol or food. We surrender so much of our well-being to an instant gratification or whatever you want to call it. But really, we're just taking everything back. I'm taking control and responsibility, and nothing tastes better than success.
Yes.
Feeling good. Yeah, absolutely.
It's also a return to what's natural
Yes.
as well. You said it brilliantly, Scott. So that's the only thing I would add. Is I think of it as a return to what is natural and appropriate.
But it pays you back, right? When we do this, we go back, we eliminate all the nonsense that's causing all the white noise and the anxiety and all the addictions. We get rid of that. We eliminate everything down to, just like Brett said, the very natural diet that we're supposed to live on. Then we start getting satiated and we start getting the nutrients we need, we heal. Then we can make wise and smart decisions. I said this all the time. When I quit chewing Copenhagen, Scott was there for that,
Day one.
Yeah, from day one. And I quit, and I haven't touched it since October 26th. And I don't crave it at all. Right. And that's because I healed. And I knew that I healed. I remember talking to you, Scott, about it the day that it was happening. I'm like, I feel like I had a conversation with myself, and out of nowhere, my body decided I'm quitting chewing. Remember, we were talking about that over the teeth.
Yep.
And that happened because my body got healthy and it healed, right? I had no inclination I was going to do that, but it really did happen. But that did not happen until I primed and I got healthy and my tissue healed and my hormones healed. And when that healed, it allowed me to not only quit chewing, but it told me I needed to quit chewing. Like my body was giving me signals.
And if you think back, Todd, you also put it off a little bit. You were going to start sooner, but you were really busy with work and you didn't think it would be a good time. And what did you think it was going to be?
Right.
You thought that it was an excuse. That's right. And you weren't trusting your body, but in your mind, and that all changed for you, and you did trust it, and look at what happened.
We call that grace. You gave yourself some grace. You trusted yourself, because I remember you said, I'm going to do it next week, right? You said one more week because you had that pack of cigarette, you had that pack left because you bought the double pack can, whatever. And I think that tells yourself it's not that super strict thing where you sit and say, I've got to do it all now. And then once you have a bump on the road, you chuck it and you say, I can't do this anymore. You said, no, like I had a bad couple of months of Christmas, fruitcake, and eggnog, okay? But eventually you're driven back. Like I was talking with someone else in the comments. I was driven back by inflammation. Inflammation brought me back here because I hated it. I hate it. And now I'm getting less inflamed, and hey,
remember. Yeah, we remember our whys, right? When that happens. And I've been going through that same thing too, because when, I used to think that carnivore should just instantly heal everybody because it did for me, right? But then I also didn't realize that I actually was healing and getting better through 2.5 years of failed keto before I went to carnivore. And so I had to go back and go, all right, I used to not give that much credit, that did anything for me, but I think it did a lot for me because now I watch people that we're trying to help and they keep stumbling on carnivore. But if I had to go back and started carnivore day one and didn't stumble with keto and ketovore for 2.5 years, I don't know if I would have had a perfect track record on carnivore. I highly doubt that I would have. I think that I would have screwed up. And so I had to go back and look at that 2.5 years that I thought was kind of a waste and a loss, for me. I don't think it was. I think it got me prepared for
Build
success.
up.
Yeah. Like, because I fell off a bunch, but I kept getting back up. But even I just remember still thinking, because this is what you had me thinking about, Scott, when you said that was every time, I would have a bad day because I would have diet soda, and I'd go off the rails and it would be bad. And I would have a real bad anxiety problem with it and real bad depression. I was really hard on myself. But then I would sit here and go, look, I had 2 Diet Mountain Dews. I didn't just go eat 2 large pizzas and, go off the rail. Like this is nothing compared to what I used to do. So even though it was a bad day and I wasn't condoning it, it was off plan. It wasn't great. I could do better. It also wasn't the end of the world. And I was making progress through that 2.5 years that got me to here. And so that's why I look at, your little bump in the road. Scott, these are all just exercises and these are all just we're working through it. That's really all it is. We're not giving up. We're working through it,
And Todd, if you think back, it was like 2 weeks after you quit. What did you find in your van? You found 2 cans unopened of Copenhagen.
Panicked. And I panicked.
And what would have happened to anybody else if it was at a different point in your life that you weren't carnivore? You would have opened those cans up and went through them and went right back to where you were, but you didn't.
Yep, I got in my car because I hadn't been, I was just getting back to driving and everything, and I got in my car and there's 2 cans of Copenhagen in there, and I went, almost got out of my car because I was like, this is gonna make me chew, and then that was just my knee jerk reaction. I was like, oh, actually, I'm still not craving it, even though they're right there. And I got in the car, drove around, didn't care, picked them up later that night, threw them away, and I was like, oh, that was weird. I thought that was gonna trigger me. I thought I found a raccoon and something. I jumped one.
Thought the goose was coming after you, huh?
For sure. We should get to a few of these questions real quick. What do we got here?
Yeah.
How to prime with no gallbladder. I also had gastric bypass. I've been struggling with eating fat. Eating it could help some, but I'm still having a hard time getting through. Yeah, I've got no gallbladder and also the lap band restriction I still have. And to prime, you just have to eat a lot of smaller meals throughout the day. Cut back on the fat to start if you're on the toilet all the time, and just gradually increase it so you're comfortable. But yeah, smaller meals throughout the day to prime.
I think it's important to understand some anatomy and physiology here too. I think people often mistake or attribute a gallbladder to having biliary salts, and your bile salts are constantly being made. The gallbladder was just a place for them to be stored. They got recovered in the large intestine and were concentrated there, and then they would be secreted, right? And the issue being is that your body still makes that stuff, but at a different rate. So in understanding that, it lends to what Lindy said about the small meals. You don't give a small child 500 pounds of weight to drag along, right? You have to do it appropriately sized. And I think it's the same thing. It's like what you were talking about, oxygen, right? When you were talking about low oxygen, most people don't know that you only use 17% of the oxygen you breathe in. That's why mouth to mouth was successful and stuff. So as an asthmatic, I had to learn early on so I wouldn't have panic attacks, because not being able to breathe is kind of, unnerving. I just had to remember the science, and the science told me as long as I was taking in a breath and holding it, I was getting enough oxygen. And I think it's the same way with food. And maybe, I mean, I have my gallbladder and everything, but I think it helps. I think knowledge helps us beat back fears.
Yeah, for sure.
If you go on Dr. Barry's channel, he's done videos about people doing carnivore with no gallbladder, and he said over time, as you eat more fat, like Scott said, your body is still making bile, and he said some people actually form like a new pocket for bile to be stored, and over time your body will adapt to the fat intake that you're eating and the amount of bile your body needs to make to deal with that, and you will over time adapt and be able to have more fat with fewer issues. Has that been your experience, Lindy?
Absolutely. It took me 6 months of just being on the toilet constantly. As soon as I'd eat, I'd be on the toilet. So it did take 6 months to settle. Now I hardly go at all. It's fantastic. So it did take a while. And just stick it out. It's not an excuse to stop carnivore. If you can get over that hurdle, it's well worth it.
Yep. People forget how amazing the body really is and how it works to get around your issues that you have. It finds a way.
Why do they feel they have to put 1.5 sugar in ballpark franks? It drives me crazy. Yeah.
Taste tests.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You don't need it in there.
It's just
Why do they have to put maltodextrin in it? Why do they have to put monosodium
syrup
glutamate in it? Why do they have to put corn syrup solids in it? Yeah. I have those, Jill, I have those same frustrations when I'm reading labels. I'm like,
well, they
why?
titrated the entire world up by up. I mean, 70 years ago you wouldn't have had it, but they add a little bit and they add a little bit and make it more palatable. They have foods, what do they call food scientists, engineers. These are people who specifically study how many oversalted versus undersalted Doritos to put in a bag to make you addicted, not to satiate you, but to make you addicted so you keep coming back to the product.
And
it is
buying more.
designed into our culture.
Right. Look at
It's
tobacco
called
companies
bliss.
and sugar. They put sugar in your cigarettes.
Yeah. There's sugar and table salt too.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
look up something online called the Bliss Point, and it's an actual thing that the chemists and marketing people do. They'll make, like, say they're making a new breakfast cereal. Well, they'll make several versions of it with varying amount of sweetness. They'll test that to customers and find out how much sugar they can tolerate before it's sickening and they eat less. So they figure out that bliss point, that sweet spot that makes you just want to keep eating and eating and eating and eating more cereal.
All about the money.
So it's a thing. It's called the bliss point.
Absolutely. Oh, this one's for Scott. He's back. He was on a vacation, but he's back.
I fell off the wagon. Let's just call it what it is. I met up with an ugly piece of fruit cake and a half gallon of eggnog in it, and my life was slightly weird.
But you're back on track now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters for sure. Good company.
You're all some of the best examples of healing on carnivore. God bless you all. You too, Keith.
You too. So
Yeah,
exactly.
you got a story and a half too.
He
Keith
does.
is awesome. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
I don't tell people I'm carnivore. My standard answer to people is I'm trying not to eat carbs. If they ask more questions, I tell them about carnivore. Yeah, good job.
That's perfect.
Good tactic.
That's good.
Absolutely.
So what are histamine reactions that I keep hearing about? Anyone?
So histamines are like a allergy reaction. That's kind of how you can, I guess, equate it. Your body makes histamines, and you can have different effects for different people, and different foods create different amounts of histamines. But again, Dr. Berry did a great video on histamines and explains it. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to be able to explain it very well, but you can liken it to allergic reactions.
And basically they say that you have like a bucket, right? And our bodies store histamines, and when that bucket gets full, you have no more tolerance for them. And some people's buckets are full just genetically, or maybe from what they eat, and certain foods have histamines in them too. So if your bucket's already full and you start eating foods that are high in histamines, like aged beefs, what is it? Well, pretty much any kind of seed or shell or what do you call them? Nightshades, and then cocoa, caffeine, stimulants, these type of things. They tend to have histamines in them. You can have a serious histamine response, and it can vary wildly. I mean, look at Michaela Peterson. I mean, it was so bad. Her histamine autoimmune responses were so bad. I think she had two ankle replacements or something by the time she was like 15, 16 years old.
Ankle and a hip, I think.
Yeah.
You know, you got to think of the word histamine and how we know it. If you want to say generically, you take an antihistamine, right, which is a pill to make your body not respond. It's part of your immune system, and your immune system goes off the rails for different things. Now, I've heard from our friend in Washington. Oh, I'm going to miss her name, but she was talking about Lynn. Lynn has a histamine issue, and you learn that when you grind meat, when you use the actual process of grinding the meat and heating the meat, will create histamine. So there's a lot of different ways they get generated, and then you get sensitive. Now, what we don't know yet in a carnivore community or in the ketone community, ketogenic community, is that what happens after a prolonged period of time, and how long of a time does your body heal and have an ability to withstand that response? Case in point, my wife has, she used to get a pretty bad a blush, if I would say, a response from eating vitamin C things. Like if she ate a peach, an apple, or anything like that, she would get just a flush reaction to the citric acid. But after years of just a little bit of time and going back and health improvements, she has a pear every day, and she can eat some of these things. Now, strawberries will still send her off the edge, right? So there's really a lot that has to be discovered yet, because if we haven't been allowed to have a big enough group of people on this diet. I mean, just now, a keto low carb diet is accepted as a medical treatment plan for type 2 diabetes. And how long has that been around? 25 years, 30 years? We need to get a big body of evidence, the things that people are doing now to do some real studies, like Dr. Baker and stuff like that, are going to help us to get more data to rethink how we attack these conditions.
Well, and I mean, what we're all really talking about is healing these conditions with diet rather than treating these conditions with drugs. And that's what we're all really talking about. And that's what we have to start doing. We have to, this what the petition that Carrie Mann and Jeff DeProsperous have out there to sign for cancer, so we could start using nutrition as a treatment for cancer and metabolic treatment. We have to do that same thing for everything, because right now there's really no diet treatments for any kind of disease. There's just symptom treatments with drugs, and we gotta start pushing back. They sell it through fear and complicity, and promising things that never come about. But we just got to start pushing back and not being so fearful with these people, and say, you know what, I've seen what you guys have done over the last 70 years, and your track record sucks.
It does.
Yeah. Here we go.
Hi, Russell. I first started with Atkins years ago. That's how all the keto meat, low carb stuff started with me. I thought, what, eat and lose weight? Great.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Kind of counterintuitive, but it's true.
Yeah, let thy food be thy medicine,
Yeah.
It is. Yep. Best medicine to be on.
Keto did a lot for me for 5 years, but carnivore has been even better for me, healing more inflammation, beef, butter, eggs, bacon, a little chicken, nothing else. I add salmon. I have salmon once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good.
yeah.
I do enjoy my salmon. Yeah.
Yeah,
omega 3s. You got to have your omega 3s.
Yeah.
I know. I like shrimp, but I had them one time on carnivore and it about ruined So I lay off them. I just don't do good with
Oh, you
seafood.
put a lot of cream in it though, didn't you?
Butter.
Butter.
Oh, was it butter? Okay.
I just did butter, but yeah, I poached them in butter and they were delicious.
That's a great
Talking about
question there.
food addictions, why do we get a dopamine hit just from walking past a bakery? Because grains are
Smell.
full of opiates, and it's for this reason. Okay, which is
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in a grocery store before, but they take the return air for the air and they pull it from the bakery. So they pump bakery air throughout the grocery store. Think about when you walk into most grocery stores, big chain grocery stores that have a bakery. What is the first thing you smell no matter what door you walk in?
Bakery.
It could be
cinnamon donuts.
every time you smell the donuts.
Coffee cakes, anything.
I haven't
like
been
that.
in a grocery store since 2009, and I still remember what the grocery stores smell like to this day because they always smelled like the bakery. And there was just something I was like, what is it about this intoxicating smell in these grocery stores that smell like the greatest bear claws and the greatest cinnamon raisin rolls ever, baked on the planet? And it hits you in the face when you walk through this door. As soon as you walk through there, you could be thinking about getting carrots and salad all you want. And as soon as you walk through the door, you're like, you're like, oh my God, I need cinnamon rolls.
That smell brings back memories to your childhood. And it's just what did you used to always have? Chocolate chip cookies or whatever. The other thing that, look at real estate agents do it as a trick too, to trick you into buying homes. They bake cookies before an open house. And that they get the smell so it reminds you of home. They know what they're doing. It's all, this whole world is a big game that everybody plays on.
For sure. And we're a bunch of junkies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But if you get wheat over in Europe, right? And I spent 12 years in Germany and different places, courtesy of our military, and their wheat is different. They can't even use our wheat to make bread over there, right? So there is something to be said about what goes into it. Like we talk about regenerative, they call it regenerative farming, using cows and chickens and stuff, and even with pigs, to get that omega-3, omega-6 more in line, using natural grasses and sawgrasses. So I don't know that we can, at this juncture, put all the eggs in one proverbial basket, but it's enough to know that in this world, like we said, in this lifestyle, knowing what your triggers are and figuring out how you're going to cope with them. Because I put on a monthly breakfast for the men at our church, and what we do is we have donuts and biscuits. And for even last year when I was doing it, I'd only have 1 or 2 donuts, right? But this past month, I had 0. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not throwing this away. I'm not having the inflammation. I'm a big boy. I can handle driving a car. That means I can handle a donut, So There you go. We just have to find our mechanisms to cope with, because you're not really going to ever get over something if you always have to be insulated from it. You may need to be insulated for a period of time. You may need to grow the strength to do it.
Yeah, well, and I would totally agree with that, because me and Lindy were talking about this. We thought for a long time that we could only be abstainers, but actually, I think as we heal, we gain the ability to be moderators too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah. Just why coffee's come back in my life.
Yeah.
I have it every now and then, and I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Doesn't affect me at all. But I don't need it every day.
That's why I'm letting myself have Tabasco. I mean, that sounds stupid, right? But I would have been scared crapless, 6 weeks ago to have Tabasco, because I would have thought, oh no, I'm going off the rails. Here I go. I'm going back to my old lifestyle because I'm not keeping, staying rigid. And now I'm like, I try stuff every once in a while. And if it doesn't harm me and I'm getting enjoyment out of it and it's making it more sustainable, then I leave it in. It's just that simple. And then I hear from the occasional carnivore, purist or whatever, tell me about it, but it's like, whatever,
I think what I'm going to recall, I'm trying to figure out a name for my brand, and I think maybe I'm going to put up something to do with captains, because we're all the captains of our own ships.
Yeah.
Aye, Captain, I got you. You know what I mean? That's the freedom.
Absolutely. Well, And I mean, look, I'm not trying to completely, dig on doctors here, but that's one thing that my doctor used to be the captain of my ship when they would tell me how to eat and what drugs to take, and I let him do that. That's my biggest problem. That's the biggest thing that I am at fault of doing, was delegating my health to people that were making money off of me being sick. Basically, they didn't have a vested interest in me being healed. And
Yeah.
two, I was an addict, so I wanted to hear that there was a magic pill that was going to let me eat sugar and also not be sick, So I kept going to find that magic pill. I think that's one reason we all buy into this and we keep taking the drugs and listening to these, freaking goofballs, is because we're lying to ourselves, and wanting the magic pill. You know what I mean? And that's where I
Yes,
was so guilty. I was like, I shouldn't have been so stupid to keep chasing the magic pill. And like, I always laugh, but it was Ice-T says, never trust the guy selling the bullets and the Band-Aids, and that's what I think of the doctor when he's telling you, go ahead and eat, this stuff and then just take this pill. I mean, it's the same deal, And you eat chicken and pork.
On Carnivore.
sure.
You know what we're saying? You can eat whatever you want.
Right.
but what I think you
I
mean
do.
Chicken doesn't have enough fat in it though.
Yeah, I only eat like chicken thighs,
Right.
like bone-in chicken thighs, and I buy them with the skin on. So when I smoke chicken thighs on the grill, I take my family doesn't like the skins, so I pull all the skins off and I fry those into chicken skin chips, and I
Right.
eat those as an appetizer.
It's
So those
Yeah.
have plenty of fat in them.
tasty. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
good
and
right there.
they're so good. But if you watch the cuts of meat you have, like stay away from chicken breast and pork tenderloin. If you stick to like chicken thighs and wings and bacon and a good clean breakfast sausage, if you can find it, then yeah, you can do it.
I haven't eaten chicken in 14 months because I found out that the chicken gives my dog seizures because the mass grown chicken has got a genetic problem with it.
Oh.
And so I don't do it. And I actually accidentally tested that theory out with my dog, and she ate one half of Costco's rotisserie chicken, and she had her first seizure in 14 months after eating a half of Costco's rotisserie chicken.
Amazing.
And I was like, okay, never again am I doing this. Like, it's unreal.
It's better than a bag of Doritos.
For sure. It
It
is.
is.
I think. I don't know what's in it that's causing seizures, but I would have to guess it is. But for sure.
Well, you talked to that rancher he said that they were crossbreeding two breeds that
don't
can't even breed on their own.
exactly. Anybody that wants to know about it, watch Super Size Me 2. And that'll tell you exactly what it is,
I don't want to be afraid.
I'd call it informed.
I'd rather face another person with a gun than a farmer.
Yeah, for sure. It was gross, man. And so I don't know. I don't mess with the chicken. Now the pork I'm fine with, but this is just my personal experience was I feel better on salmon, lamb, and beef.
Ruminant meat.
Those give me the best feeling, the best energy, the best mind energy. So that's what I stick to. And this is what I talk about elimination diet. I'm just to the point in my life where I spent a long time sick and I'm really enjoying not being sick. And so I have no tolerance for things that take away my energy or my joy or my happiness. As soon as I feel that, I just wipe it off my list because I'm like, I'm not doing that because I really enjoy this feeling that I have right now. This is something I never had before, and I'm not going to lose it,
My worst day on Carnivore is still better than my best day I've had before.
Absolutely.
Health feels good.
It does. And it's addictive. That's a good addiction. It's my favorite addiction now.
That's 1.5.
I've got no willpower. and quit every diet I'm on. That's why I want to try carnivore 100% without the carbs, as I've never been 100% without the carbs. E.g. sausages, onion, coffee, cream, I keep deviating from.
Hustler, you're in good hands because I can tell you I didn't get to 700 pounds by having a whole bunch of willpower.
That is,
I
yeah.
have no willpower. People that tell me I could never eat as restrictive as you do because you're so tough and you have so much willpower. I'm like, no, sir, no. This is not willpower. This is the food version of grace.
Like I said
Freedom.
earlier, that we were broken. We didn't have that off switch, which we do have now, being carnivore. And some people have got that off switch all their lives, but I certainly didn't. I didn't even know what an off switch was until I experienced it, a couple of months into carnivore. But yeah, I felt like a failure. Failed everything. Diet, slap band, nothing worked. But this is working for me. So
I don't disagree with you all, but I have one thing if I've learned over the years in working with people is that it's good if you can find something that you've accomplished. Like I would say for Todd as an electrician and a businessman, right? And now you have your degrees, right? I would say, and words matter, right? If we can agree that words matter, that maybe we could use terms that says, when it comes to food, I've really been unable to exercise willpower. But if you say I don't have willpower, you've made that over your whole dominion over your whole life.
Right,
You
exactly.
obviously to grow the beard you have in that picture, brother, gelling right now, right? I'm just saying is you have willpower to do a lot of things. You are gifted and equipped to do something really well in some aspect in life, right? And if you can take a hold of that and make that the basis where you derive some of your confidence, and you can say, I may not have got it today, but look, I made this over here. I can go the next step. I can get back on that horse again. But not putting the no willpower, just say, hey, I haven't learned how to do this yet, but you have accomplished a lot of things in life. And I think that way is that grace you were talking about, right? It really gives you a way to go back. Because I don't know about you, but when the lights are out and the room's full of smoke and the bullets are flying, right? I'm reaching out blindly to grab something that I can get a point of reference on, right? And that way, and when I have reference, when I have knowledge or data, then I can start doing things as opposed to surrendering to life like in a drunken haze and I have no opportunity or no ability at all because I'm, chemically altered, right? So I think maybe some reprogramming in our minds to sit there and say, I can't do this today, but I've done these other things. And I can listen to Todd and Lindy who've really made the big struggles, and Michael and all those people. I mean, I don't have it far to go, but it's still my journey. I still have to make it. But look to people that you can lash your boat to help you get over the rough times.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think that's 100% true. Here's what I really think. I don't mean to say I don't have willpower, and I don't mean to say the Lindy doesn't have willpower. What I'm saying is we don't have extra willpower. We don't have more willpower than the rest of us.
That's right.
Okay.
Well
And
put.
what really I mean by that is, and I always show this picture. I gotta go find it real quick, but I really mean that some people seem like they have more willpower. And honestly, I don't think they do. I think we all have the same willpower. I think that some people exercise a muscle and they get strong. And some people maybe are sick and they're trying to deal with an illness and they don't have the ability to even work out to try to exercise that muscle to get strong. And carnivore healed us, right? Right. Carnivore was a diet that actually paid us back. See, um, when I did calorie restrictive diets, those diets didn't pay you back. You actually got less nourished through calorie restricting. That was 100% willpower. And it was all a matter of time before it came crumbling down because it never healed anything. But carnivore healed stuff that put me on an even basis where I could start exercising the willpower that I had and building that muscle to where that was, yeah, thank you, Michael. That was the one I was looking for. This is what I'm talking about here. And when I look at this picture, I love this picture because I look at this and there's so many lessons in this picture for me. But one was I used to think that by not giving into the cravings was me choosing not to suffer. And then later I figured out when I lost my ability to drive and to walk and to breathe without oxygen and hardly make it to the bathroom, and I was stuck in the house for 2.5 years, I realized that that was a lie, that was an illusion, that by choosing to eat the things that I thought was choosing, the least suffering, I was actually choosing to let suffering and my circumstances take control. And that suffering was much worse and it was much longer lasting and much harder to come back from. And so my mind changed because I started realizing that when I didn't choose the suffering chose me, and it was way worse. I mean, it was the depths of hell when that came for you. So now I had to realize that every time that I didn't eat the meat, that I was choosing to not drive, I was choosing to not breathe, I was choosing to not walk, I was choosing all these things. And then I was actually choosing the greatest suffering and I was losing control. And I was starting to not have options anymore. The suffering was taking over. And so that was one thing. But I also realized that when you do choose the suffering, the resistance doesn't change, the challenge doesn't change, the opposing force doesn't change. But what happens is, like in that left side of that picture, you get stronger. So it would appear that you have more willpower, and it would appear that the challenge is lighter, but it's really that you just got stronger. You worked out something, you healed, you got stronger, and now everything became easier. Not because the challenge changed. The challenge was all the same, but it's because we healed and we got stronger. And this is why I don't think that we could do it on the standard American diet, because we were sick. We couldn't even heal to get strong. We were sick and we had to use carnivore to heal the body so that we could work on exercise and the muscle to get to here that now makes everything so easy to keep having victory and to not mess up anymore, to not have bad days anymore, to really get over that hump, is because we finally healed and now we're actually working out this muscle on the left side of that screen. And it would have the same appearance that all of a sudden we have this great amount of willpower, but we do not. We have the same amount as everybody else, but we had to go through this process. And this is why that process to me is so life-changing and important, if that makes any sense at all. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and Rustler, you got to give yourself some credit because you've got some willpower because you're trying carnivore.
Yes.
You're here in the chat
Yes.
to ask the question.
Yep.
So, give yourself some credit that you're even doing it.
Because you're looking into something, right? Most people don't.
Most people won't even try it.
And
they just shy away. They're like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And just keep at it. I find the longer I do it, the easier it gets.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
And it totally works.
Just keep rolling. Just keep going with it.
Yeah, and it's not.
When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else, right? So if all you can say is I'm gonna say no to the pizza, I'm gonna say no to Copenhagen, I'm gonna say no to the soda. I'm saying yes to health, right? And just one day at a time, just work on those habits. Because a lot of us get caught in, well, when I get to this point, when this event happens, I'll do this thing, right? And that doesn't take care of today. It's as a today thing. Praise yourself when you're successful. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and realign yourself when you're not. But just like they said here, it's your personal journey and you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And all I was going to say is it happens quicker than you think, It's been 14 months for me. I can't even believe how fast it went through.
Goes by fast. Yeah.
But wrestler, I don't wake up and ever worry about eating. I don't worry about falling off the wagon, not once. I don't go to sleep thinking about it anymore. I don't wake up thinking about it. It never crosses my mind. It never occurs to me that I can even be tempted to fall off the wagon anymore. That's how free this diet has made me. I don't have any anxiety about it. And since I was 9, that's all I had anxiety about until I was 39. I never thought about anything else ever. I was always in some form of feeling guilty and depressed because I was screwing up, or I was had anxiety and stress trying not to screw up. And it was that way my whole life. And now I don't have to. I mean, it really does for you. It really, really does. So hang in there, because getting over that hump with this, it'll pay you back, and it's well worth the reward.
And you get to eat some good meat.
Exactly.
Oh,
Really good.
Ozempic.
Don't want it.
Yeah. Your doctor is a drug dealing little scumbag, in my opinion, if he's pushing that on you. And I'm not sorry. And I said what I said. Scumbag.
You got to dance with the one that brought you. You got to be careful. That's like, that's like getting a loan from the mafia, right? You're going to tell your brain that you're not going to eat and do certain things, kind of like a statin drug. I'm not going to let cholesterol work. So I get a low cholesterol number. Oh, that's awesome. But now your skin tears and you have Alzheimer's and you have all sorts of other things. You're going to pay. You either pay me now or you pay me later, right? And that's all this stuff is. They're just trying to trade your time and dollars.
Do you guys know about the Ozempic coupons?
Yep.
That's what made me go, you guys are freaking drug dealers. Like
Exactly.
nasty street pieces of crap drug dealers to get people hope for 3 months and get them hooked on it, and then jack up the price 1,500%.
Yeah.
Freaking absolute scumbags.
I saw a news story on Ozempic this week. They were talking about people that are going in for surgeries and they're on Ozempic and they're having problems because, I don't know if you know, Ozempic messes with your digestion and it keeps the food in your stomach longer.
Yeah.
And it messes with that whole thing. People are going in for surgery and they still have food in their system and they think that they don't, but they do because they're on Ozempic. And I mean, that's just one of the problems with it. There's a whole laundry list of them.
Most medications work on your gut biome, particularly all your psychosomatic stuff, all your things, your mental health medications. They actually are working on your gut biome because, your gut biome does so much for you. Ergo, if they can control that, and it has nothing really to do about you, just control that biome,
And doing the carnivore diet is the thing that gets you off of Ozempic.
That's it.
So why start it?
Amen.
Doing the thing that's going to get you off of it. So
Before I found carnivore, I was thinking about going on it too, and my doctor was trying to push it. My insurance didn't want to cover it, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, don't badmouth them.
No, I thought I can do it. I thought I'd do it for a few months and maybe drop some weight and I'd feel better. But I'm so glad I found carnivore instead. It's the answer. I'm telling you, do it.
Well, I've lost nearly plus or minus 500 pounds on carnivore. And just last month, I went to see a skin surgeon in regards to having some skin removal surgery. And he's like, oh, how'd you lose weight? And I said, carnivore diet. And he goes, oh, not Ozempic? I'm like, no. He says, would you like some? No.
What a joke.
I politely declined. I'm like, I just lost all this weight and you're offering me Ozempic?
The gall.
So yeah, I was a bit thrown by that, and it's like, no, thank you. I'd much rather spend my money on meat. So yeah, you do what you have to do. Like, if I can avoid having drugs and stuff to lose weight, then I'm going to do that. I mean, yeah, not going there.
I wonder if the doctor said that just to cover their own butt, to say, I asked her, she said no, and now I'm covered in case anything happens.
I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, I'm just glad that he accepted my no and didn't fight me on it. He was like, no worries.
That's a good thing. That might mean more what Brett was saying. He was doing some CYA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Ivana, you know what's great about your comment there? You talk about eating food for drunkenness. There's a syndrome that's auto brewing syndrome, So most people don't know that when you're on the standard American diet or particularly vegan diet, your body makes 1 ounce of alcohol every day. And it has to process that because of all the fermentation going on, And there was a lady who got pulled over DWI. She blew a point 0.12 and hadn't had any alcohol for years. But her body made so much alcohol, she was inebriated, right? There's auto brewers syndrome. And that's just another reason to get away from the breads. And I think a lot of people say, hey, I don't drink alcohol. No, but you make it. Trust me, you're making it in your gut all day long.
Right. That's interesting.
That's it.
Fermenting.
No, you can't.
Amen. You're right about that within.
No, not at all. And it's so funny, right? It's so funny to believe that I could have been, I got to 700 pounds and I was malnourished. That's what took me 9 months to find that out through carnivore and slowed my metabolism down until I finally gave in. And then sure enough, what I have to do, eat, not just a little bit either. I was eating 6,000 calories a day for 90 days and still losing shirt sizes. That's how crazy that was.
Does mess with your head. Yeah. Some people recommend me to transition into carnivore diet. I think wouldn't get past food cravings. I wouldn't even start doing better. I need to lose 64 pounds, so I just jumped right into carnivore. Yeah, everyone's different. I jumped straight into it. I had to because the cravings were still very strong, but other people need to transition. So you just need to find what works for you, what you can sustain. Everyone's different. So good job.
And great work.
Yes.
They do. Absolutely, they do. They're like, here, smell this, the sugar crack.
I just smell the seed oils now. Can you smell seed oils when you walk past somewhere and you think that smell?
So gross.
I don't even smell food anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And my grocery store makes caramel corn and cheese corn right by the entrance.
Yeah.
Get you as you're walking in. Yep.
Woo.
Yep. Every time.
Sorry to hear about that, Sandra.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible.
Oh.
I've learned so much from following your journeys and I'm so inspired. Keep the content coming. I feel so successful. Thank you all so much. Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Appreciate it all so much. We hope somebody's getting something out of this jaw wagon.
This is the first time in my life I realize I actually care about myself since being carnivore. Yeah, I can actually say I like myself as well now. Almost love myself. I think so. Never did before this.
That's right, Consider.
Let's do a little roll call. Everybody put in the chat how long you've been doing carnivore.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My 1 year is coming up on St. Patrick's Day. So in a week from
next Saturday, yeah.
Next Saturday, yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. Great job, Brett.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a big special?
I'm gonna do something. Yeah. I'm gonna go live or do something. Yeah.
May I recommend a tomahawk cake?
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good
I've
idea.
back at it since about February 8th.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah, this is 14 months, 10 days for me.
7 days, Hal. All right.
Good. Congrats for starting. I'm proud of you.
Hopefully everything's going well with your transition to an all-meat diet.
And
By where you're coming from.
By all means, reach out to anybody out here. I know sometimes when I first started, I wanted to get to someone. I watch videos, but I'm sure Todd and Lindy and Brett can speak to it. But I love going live, and I'll just go all different times of day. Jump in. Don't sit there waiting. Contact people.
Yeah, it's a very supportive community. Only a couple of trolls out there, but yeah, they're not worth your time of day.
They're not.
It's fun that they give us their energy for free.
10
If you
months.
haven't checked out the Champion Within, he has a great channel.
He does.
Go check him out. He's some inspiring messages, and the exercise he does. He drives a truck and does push-ups after every stop, and he's got some really entertaining channel.
Yep.
Oh,
I posted
great.
his link in the channel and all the channels.
Oh, great.
Excellent. I'll have to check you out.
Yeah, for sure. Pushing the opium wars. Absolutely.
So it's great. We got people that have just started a couple weeks in. We got people in here that have been doing it for a while. So it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 years, 2 months for me.
About a week.
Congratulations.
Getting close to that 1 year, Keith.
There we go.
There you go.
Have a party for Keith.
We are going to have.
Months.
Hey, Keith, we should have Keith on here so you can celebrate his 1 year on here.
Yep.
Yeah, plant the seed. You think about it.
Yeah.
There's a fantastic story to tell. So, yeah.
Speaking of all that, I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to bid you all adieu and give you all the helm back and all the time and oxygen back. I should appreciate your being so open to letting someone come in on your show and talk. So again, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it so much.
Scotty. So nice to have you back.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, bye,
Have a
y'all.
good night. See you,
Bye.
Scott.
You too.
Let's see here.
In Australia, if you're a type 2 diabetic, at the last resort, you can get it for free. My friend is losing his legs, and they are umming and ahhing over putting him on Ozempic.
Wow. So sorry to hear that, Sandra. Look up Ozempic lawsuits. I bet there's plenty of them.
I think everyone should just do their own research and do what you think is right for you. I mean, my daughter's been told a lot of stuff about her condition. She's type 1 diabetic, and she's actually going against what the doctors are saying from the research we've done through Carnivore doctors. And she's getting her eyesight back and has major improvements by not following what her doctor has told her.
There's a
So,
question for Brett too. Yeah, absolutely. That
Yeah.
I think everybody does have to do their own thing, and you know, man, I can't tell anybody what to do either. But I quit taking all my medication, and it hasn't, it's only done me good things, But it absolutely, if you're taking Ozempic for a diabetic reason, it might be very well a good thing, for a while. But it, that's
do
a
your
tough
research. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of side effects.
Yeah. Email me at who's your carnivore at Gmail, and I'll give you my number, and we can meet up, maybe get a steak, or if your truck is stopped for a little bit, I'll run down to wherever you are and grab some burger patties or whatever. Maybe do a quick live or something. We'll do something.
That'd be fun for
Sounds
sure.
good. Yeah.
Maybe he'll make you one of those ribeyes that's sitting behind him.
Exactly.
Mm.
For Lindy.
You've been spending a lot of time with people from the US. What are some of the things you have learned?
Oh.
Oh,
Not
boy.
much.
Oh boy. she's been what did Sean Baker call me? Simple. She's been spending time with the simple people.
She's going to learn a lot when she comes to Texas.
I'm so looking forward to coming to Texas, and meeting everyone there. It's confusing because we all talk a different language. We're all speak the English language, but all these measurements and steak types and different names for things, it's a bit confusing.
Time zones
Time zone. I always stuff up the time zones. Yeah, I mean, these guys are my clock. I'm like, what time is that for me? So they work it out for me because I don't have a head for numbers. But no, I wish there was a bigger community here in Australia. We've started a little the Aussie Carnivore connection with DC Learning to Live and Dave Mack from Low Carb, and that's been nice. We're getting a little following there, but there's still a lot of people from around the globe in that chat as well. So I'd love to have a bigger following here in Australia, just so we can meet up, do meetups. Like, I'm so jealous. Who's he going to Montello, and got Kip's thing coming up, and we just don't have that down here. So yeah, but that's, we're all family. It doesn't matter what side of the earth we are. We've got, Carnivore Keith. He's in New Zealand. We're pretty close with him. We've got the internet. We're still family. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's great. We all learn from each other.
Congratulations, Sherry.
6 weeks.
120 days.
Hey, one see one.
Wow.
Ooh,
Good
that
at
is
Point
awesome.
down on
90
everyone.
days. Awesome.
That is huge.
The
Definitely. We'll be talking, Keith. Sorry, you cut out there, Brett. What would you say?
Yeah, missed that.
Stephanie went from diabetic to
Great.
diabetic.
Yep.
90
Yep.
days.
You just think it's
Yeah.
going to keep going longer, the lower, the longer you go.
Yep, the healing is just
Amazing
starting.
results.
I'm not. I feel like this is an Aussie statement. I'm not sure.
How to say yeah, no, or no, yay. Yeah.
Is that an Aussie thing? I feel like I've heard you guys use that a little bit.
Sometimes you say yeah, yes, no, whatever. Maybe I know I can say a lot of other things, but we're a family friendly side.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, he can't attend the Aussie Carnivore Connection due to family time and things like that. So, but I think he's in New South Wales. I think. Let's get it there. Oh, I'm in Melbourne. Where are you, Paul? We've got Sandra in Perth. We've got Shelley's in Melbourne.
I think
Is
there's
there any other Aussies out there?
a lot of carnivores in Australia.
I think according to this, I think Rustler is a Aussie.
Oh, whereabouts are you, Rustler?
Maybe.
Midwestern US, yeah.
This is hey Sherry. Yeah, she's in the Baker group. I was wondering if that was you. Hi.
You get around, Todd.
And
Dr.
crazy.
Berry's group, Dr. Baker's, SBG.
Oh, he goes, yeah, no, as a Kiwi saying. There you go, Keith.
Yeah, no. It's Queensland. Look up DC Learning to Live. He's in Queensland, so you might be able to do a meetup with him. I can't remember where though. Yeah, keep in touch. Let us know how you go with your A1C. I'm getting a full blood panel next week. I'm going to ask for an A1C. So Tamworth. Is that in Victoria? See, this is why. Yeah, I'm hopeless. Sorry. I know it's out in the country somewhere.
Sydney.
Yeah. So live long, stay strong. He's in Sydney.
Oh, Wisconsin. So you are over by Carrie then. Do you know Carrie Mann, Homestead How? Where is he? Montello, Wisconsin?
Montello is about an hour north of Madison.
There you go.
Like directly north of Madison.
Let us know if you know Carrie and Homestead How. He's got a movie theater you could go visit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great little movie theater.
Tamworth is about 600 miles northwest of you, or northeast of you at Lindy.
Okay.
I don't understand this.
Probably the no thing.
No.
Yeah, no.
I gotcha.
Oh, you've got us in Perth. Nice.
You got all the Aussies in here today.
Yeah, they're all on the
quite a
other side. There's not many in Melbourne though. But yeah, I think we're going to try and do a meetup in Perth next year for the low carb. So we might get to see Todd and the SPG gang and whoever else wants to come up.
For sure. Are you going to be at the Hack Your Health, Brett?
I would love to go, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I'll be at the Louisville one in October
Okay.
in Louisville, Kentucky. The Keto Palooza. I'll be at that one for sure.
That'll be
That's a
fun.
lot closer for you too.
A lot closer. Austin's a plane ride.
For
Getting
me
ready to
too.
move
Ready to move to Madison.
Nice.
Yep, I just drove through there today on my way back.
Nice.
Nice little town.
Yeah, Madison's awesome.
Yeah, very pretty.
Me too, Shelley. We'll have to fly up together. It's a date.
That'll be fun. Yeah, definitely. Man, so many people. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I don't know. Maybe here in another month we'll have a little bit more details of the itinerary in Austin, but we're gonna have to schedule at least one meetup for everybody that's going to be in that area. Let us know
Absolutely.
anybody that's going to be in the Austin area or at Hack Your Health on May 31st through
June 3rd.
June
3rd.
Yeah,
Do you know if there's still tickets available for that?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love
to
to go because it seems like everyone is going, and
A lot of people are.
it was just it's just going to be a great event. So
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a pretty epic live stream. It's sounding like
Yeah.
it'll be pretty
There's-
awesome.
There's a lot to look forward to.
yeah.
Watch this space. That's all I can say.
So many
Exactly.
so many people to hang out with.
I know, and I could use your help on the smoker, to be honest with you, because I'm renting a trailer smoker, So for the Airbnb, because we're gonna have a lot of people. And
Yeah, you
so,
got to feed all the ladies. We're all going honky tonking, so we need some food afterwards.
You need some
Exactly.
energy, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Texans eat their meat, so we're gonna. But yeah, so I found a place where I can rent the big trailer mounted smokers, and I figure because I don't, they got a little dinky barbecue, but how are we gonna barbecue off of a little tiny grill for 15 people?
Yeah.
Like, got to get a trailer smoker. So,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, I got a lot of things, when you're running one of those trailer smokers, they're not like a Traeger. You kind of got to man them, babysit them. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be running back here. And the where we're staying is about 45 minutes from Hack Your Health. And I'm like, man, this is going to suck. So I'm trying to see if I can find one with like an automatic hopper to keep it going or something, on a big scale. But
have you seen a picture of what it looks like? If it's like an oil drum type that has a firebox on the side and it uses like a side draft.
Yeah, it's an offset. Yeah.
An offset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those would be good because you're not going to use a ton of charcoal and wood in those as you would if you had to lay it out across the whole.
Yeah, you don't have to lay it on the bottom, just in the. Yeah, it's the offset side draft one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I'm trying to do is I want to find one that has that on one side of the trailer and like a really big propane grill on the other side, like a big flat top grill on the other side, because I'd like to do some searing on that side.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to heat. I don't want to cook in the house either. They have stoves and stuff. It's going to be hotter than crap there, and I don't want to cook nothing in the house. So I just want to do it all outside, and so I think that's going to be the way of going about it. But I'm like, dang it, we're going to need to tag team this thing, and I need somebody to run a smoker.
Driving down for that? Or are you going to fly?
I'm flying. I have to. I'm too dang far away. It's like a 28-hour drive or something for me.
Yes, it will be my first time going to the US, and I haven't been on a plane since my 20s, I think. So 30 years. Yeah.
How easy was it for you to get a visa to visit?
Literally overnight. We applied for it and it came back the next day. So I thought it would take ages, but they're very quick. So yeah, very lucky.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think so.
Beautiful. Well, you owe Michael some overtime, I think.
Does, huh?
Yeah, I
late,
know.
late night overtime too. It's 10:30 p.m. here.
Is
We're
it?
11:30 for Brett.
For the record, this is Lindy's fault because she's the one that's gotten so famous lately that we got all these people in here. So
Congratulations on breaking 4K for your subs.
and he's got 4K.
Yeah.
Fantastic. She's
Yeah.
on Baker. Lindy's on Baker. She's on Rogan. She's basically, Taylor Swift now.
No. As long as my message gets out there and we can find some other people that need this help, then my job's done. I just want to help everybody find their optimal health. So, yeah.
Glad we found you too.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out. That's what this community is about, man. Is like, if you're struggling, if we can help you, we will. Also, SBG gang, I love those guys. It's a great community to be in if you need help and guidance. There's a lot of communities here. Just stay immersed in the community and follow people that
Big thing is when you got those cravings and you're about ready to give in, go make yourself some a steak or some burgers or something and eat. Make some scrambled eggs, anything like that.
Have some bacon already cooked and
ready to go. That's right.
Just keep it in a bag, and if you want a snack, just grab some bacon. That's a great little snack. Or hard-boiled eggs. They're really good too.
Something will fill you up. Get some fat in you.
I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but after 70 days, I got tired of ribeyes.
Wow.
Every day for 70 days online, and I got tired of it when I started doing more fat. So I started doing ground beef because what I'm doing, and this was about kind of like I was saying, priming or whatever, or not meal prepping, is I've been cooking 7 pounds of ground beef at a time, and then I get the macros right, and I add all the fat to it, and then I add the Tabasco on it, kind of emulsifies the fat a little bit. But then I put it in the fridge because I prefer it cold with the fat cold. I like to eat the ground beef with the fat cold, and
that's what I did.
Is that like pemmican? Is that what they call pemmican? When you've got
yeah.
I like that.
I cooked up 3 pounds. I threw a little tallow in there, and I left the fat, everything in there. Kept it in the pot, threw it in the fridge, let it harden up, and I just took spoons just like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, and if you don't have a gallbladder, it's perfect because it won't give you the runs.
Absolutely. And as it was starting to thicken, I'd go back every 30 minutes and I'd stir it so that the stuff on the top would get down on the bottom and it would kind of be even coating across it. And I did that till it was cold. And now all I have to do is I go in there to the fridge. I don't have to heat it up, and I just take 400 grams out and put it in a bowl. And lo and behold, it's the perfect 2-to-1 fat ratio, and it's been doing awesome.
You should make a YouTube video on that. It'll drive vegans crazy. Eating like cold fat by the spoonful out of the fridge.
I know. I should make a parody on it and start looking.
Parody. You'd get a lot of views.
Yeah, put like a lot of views. Put like a large main line in.
Yeah, I think JT did a video one time where he was like eating spoonfuls of bacon grease or something, and it got a ton of views. People were like putting in all kinds of crazy comments. So, hey, there's Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Hey, there she is. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in. I'm sorry to say we're about ready to call it a night because we've been on for 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Lindy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
She's got great videos. Definitely check out her channel.
What's her channel?
Is Michael looking it up?
Sammy, Starting Carnivore.
Who are we talking about? Whose channel?
Wendy. Did
Robin
you just-
Heron. That's who I
Oh,
was.
Robin. Yeah, Robin's
Oh,
got a channel.
Robin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought I missed the carnivore too. I knew Robin. I figured you were doing that one, but I was like, oh, I thought maybe Jenny or somebody had a carnivore or a channel. Right on. Yeah, Robin's channel's awesome.
Yeah, she talks about her own experiences, and she does some cooking on there, and very, very good stuff. Good stuff.
What's the update with your cooking videos, Todd? You're gonna when do
I
you
was
start?
gonna start, and then my little petri dish germ factory of a niece brought over a flu this week, and I spent about 3 days with the flu, and it took it out of me this week. So next week I'm gonna start
Next
my
week.
first cooking videos. But I'll tell you what, kids, they're just little they're like ground zero for any new bug. They
Yeah,
are.
fair enough. I'll look forward to it next week.
Yeah, and like literally I had to put the brisket in. I might do a second one so I can do a video on it, but I had to put the brisket into the sous vide today. And I didn't have it in me to try to videotape it. So I just trimmed up the brisket and put it in. I'm like, I'll video the next brisket I do. Because I was just like, I don't have it in me today. I was pretty drained from that stupid whatever little stomach bug, it didn't last long, but it was a good one. There's one running around.
Sounds good. There's Robin channels in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You guys are awesome. You guys hung in there this whole time. You guys must be on Carnivore because you had the energy to listen to us for about 3.5 hours. I wouldn't have had the patience to listen to me for 3.5.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and thanks Brett for joining us today. It's been awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go check out Who's Your Carnivore.
Yeah, thanks for putting the link in. Happy to jump in whenever I can. So
Yeah, appreciate it.
love talking to you
Well,
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna ask you, Cranky Carnivore, are you in Barry's group? Because I swear I seen you the other day, and then I was gonna say something, but some lady went off on some tangent about shop pay and conspiracies and moon landings and certain things. But she went she went a little bit crazy. But are you in Barry's PhD group? I think I saw you. See what he says. I asked you before, but I think I either missed it or you missed it. But heck yeah, I know. And Brett, let's
yes, there you go.
okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
was it. All right, perfect. I was like, I recognize that guy. Because I think your name's John. Well, I shouldn't put that out there. He probably doesn't want to know that. Joe. John
Oh,
Doe.
yeah.
Just put his phone number out there too, Todd. Go ahead.
You gotta say, Lisa, I just wanted to start calling you John instead of Cranky.
Oh, good.
I appreciate it. Well, Brett, yeah, hopefully you can make it. We'd love to see you down there at hacking your health with everybody. That'd be way fun. Get the group together.
Yeah, I'm working on the wife. Maybe I'll convince her that it's worth my time to go.
Well, maybe you could surprise her. Does she have a birthday or anything coming up where you could surprise her with an exotic trip to Austin?
Or the trip or the gift could just be having a weekend without you there.
There you go. A
She had
girls'
that this
weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure she would love that. But she wouldn't want to hang out and go to all the different events and things.
Right.
She's not really into it, but she'd have a good time down there anyway. Yes, Exposing Darkness. I am going to go to Keto Palooza in Louisville. Yeah. Yep. All right, Keto Simple just jumped in too. Hey, Dustin.
There you go.
Now that we're done.
You guys, you must have heard us saying we're going, we're leaving tonight. Coming in. Definitely go check out Keto Simple. Also, Jenny Murphy says she does have a channel. Let's see. Let's put that up. Does have a channel, but I've been taking a break. But I'm going to start making content again. Hopefully soon. I'll be changing my YouTube channel's name. Though I'll be doing carnivore and prepping videos. There you go. Awesome.
Cool.
Reach out. We'd love to help get you any exposure we can.
Yeah, for sure.
Check out Keto Simple. Let's
Yeah,
see.
he's a great too. I've met him a couple times at local meetups. He's from Central Indiana.
Another Hoosier, huh?
He's a real good dude.
Oh, he's got a question for you.
Oh, Columbus next week. I'll see if I can. I guess I need to get the info on it. I didn't know that there was one. So I'll go on your channel, or maybe you can shoot me an email or something. That'd be awesome.
I didn't
And I
know
will try to
cranky
go.
was another.
Try
I
to
didn't
make-
know cranky was another meaning for eccentric. But I get it now. That makes more sense. All right, did we get everybody in here? I think we did. We better make a break for it while we still can. Brett, I thank you so much for coming on. We love you
Great
guys.
seeing you, Brett. Yep.
We appreciate y'all coming on. And we will see you guys next Sunday, if not sooner. And appreciate you guys. You guys keep showing up. It's awe-inspiring. I can't believe you keep coming to listen to us. I know it's mostly Lindy.
No. Thank you everyone for coming, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
He's doing awesome. All right, we'll see you guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.